This week, we're discussing how Eddie, Hen, and Athena try to keep people from slipping through the cracks in the broken systems.
How Buck, or Mr. Poop, grapples with a mini version of himself in the Disney downfall Theo's parents meet.
And how Buddie-Diaz is about to baby trap himself in a reverse Uno of Buck in season 2.
Have you ever watched something that completely rewired your brain chemistry?
A procedural network drama might not be your usual pick, but it's ours.
This is The Buddy System, a 911 yapathon hosted by 3 friends who have DM'd each other enough character dissertations to earn a PhD in media literacy.
I'm Han, coming to you straight from the characters' heads.
I'm Sil, bringing you to the observation deck.
And I'm Rachel, connecting the dots with my red string.
With our powers combined,
no stone is left unturned.
And no buddy is left behind.
Welcome to the Buddy System. This is our 12th special episode covering season 9. Today we're talking about
season 9, episode 17, titled, I Got You, Babe.
Written by Christopher Monfett and Taylor Wong. Directed by John J. Gray. And the director of photography is PJ Russ. Woof woof.
Russ
Dog.
Coming in clutch with that colored lighting.
We will talk about it.
Wow, that I felt like that was a jump scare. That felt like very me reading this is our 12th special because I never read that line.
Yeah, you normally don't.
And
that's
I was
crazy.
like, man, that's giving previously on 911.
All right, well, I think we're going to get into our episode review. Only one episode, so we'll see if we can make it a little bit shorter.
Why would you say that?
Now you just it's like saying the Q word, Han.
Yeah, you said the S word.
No, I didn't.
Sure. Okay, we'll look the other way. Pretend that didn't happen. Anyway, so what worked well, guys?
Yeah, so I guess some people may or may not agree with me, but I think the Buck storyline worked really well. I think that the way that they reintroduced like Connor and Kameron, like having it come mid storyline, like already meeting this kid, already having Buck and Eddie and the team interact with him, you know, having him run around with him, and you're kind of like, oh my god, they're so cute, and then you're like, oh, it's literally his donor baby. And then, you know, having him talk about it with Eddie and then subsequently the team because they're just also there.
Like a true family.
Exactly. And they're just, you know, saying sperm really loudly in a place for kids, as you do.
Incredible.
The dinner, I think, worked really well for me that he had with Connor, Kameron, and Theo. And then I think the accident, the hospital, like all of it tied together really nicely. I think it was done really well. I'm a known hater of the original donor baby storyline. So I had some reservations. I was like, how are we going to do this? But I liked the way that this was handled. You know, RIP, but this is on ABC, which is owned by Disney, and there'd be dead parents here, you know, like, but it's fiction, and that's what we do, you know?
Michael Mouse out here just
he's Spider-Man. He has to have dead parents. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it works.
Part of the origin story.
But yeah, so I think it just really focused on Buck. Like, I like the way that it focused on Buck and how he's kind of coping with like being confronted with like this kid that he helped create, but how like he's not the kid's family or the father, like even though he's the sperm donor, like they made a good point of that. So I think it was done really well. And I think this is going to be a continuing really good storyline for Buck.
Yeah, I think so too. I think we all kind of feel similarly about and generally positively about the storyline. If I'm not right.
No, you're correct. You're correct. I'm just, I just, you know, again, I asked for an accidental acquisition. I thought it was going to be one episode, and I thought it was a random child.
Yeah.
And they were like, I'll do you one better. It's going to be the sperm donor baby.
Yeah.
Gonna give it to you in a way you don't expect or not how you think.
Yeah. And the other thing just is, I know I was on record saying some things, but I didn't account for the death. I didn't account for the death. So I'm here for it. That works.
Listen,
that works for me.
We didn't think like, because when we did our 9/16 special, when we were like theorizing what could happen and like what it could mean, like if the donor toddler showed up, none of our theorizing led to the parents are dead. No, like none of it at all. Like the closest we got was Rachel saying, what if they're at one of the emergencies?
Yeah. I was like, they could be involved in some way, but I didn't. And I thought that might mean, like temporary rehousing of the child, while Connor and Kameron are like recuperating, or maybe like one of them's in a coma, but then they wake up. I didn't
not like permadeath.
No,
no.
It's like, of course.
Yeah.
This is what we were gonna do. And then like thinking about it, I think we came up with some some sort of good ideas of how they can handle it. But I'm excited to see what we're gonna do, if it's gonna be a permanent thing, a temporary thing, and how this kid is going to be some sort of kind of plot device for future storylines. So I'm excited.
Wonder what those will be.
We'll talk about that later.
Gee, I wonder what section.
The one you're all tuning in for, probably.
Because all of our
season not even 9 listening to this part.
All of our season 9 coverage has been Buddiemaxxing.
Yeah,
for the most part.
Listen,
that's what we do.
We used to be a lot less that. Not less.
No, it's for the rewatches.
Yeah, for the rewatch will be.
We're more,
I know,
like
no, but I mean, like before we reformatted
it.
Yeah, we were a little bit more,
because I think it was too close to the format of the rewatches, and like, yeah,
and it's more exciting this way because we're like, we don't know what's coming up, but like it's current events, so like maybe, we also really love the Hen and Eddie being involved in the migrant and ICE storyline, and how they had that also intersect with Athena's storyline and the crooked detective. Thought that was like a really smart way. Obviously, they had been setting this up, and I think, and we're still going to see kind of the fallout of that. But I think that was a really smart way to incorporate a couple different concepts and ideas and have that be a connected thing. So I thought that was really well done. It's something that we kind of figured was a possibility, but I like that they got all three of them involved in these storylines. I think that was important.
Yeah. I really just, as a sidebar, just really love the Athena and Eddie interactions we've been having this season. It's so good. More of, I'm going to mention it again, but more of that, please. Okay. So one thing 911 has done, like pretty well, is take things that happen in the real world, things that are like scary, complicated, or politically charged, but they find out like a human story inside them without like turning it into a lecture, or like they're, like they're not preachy about it either. So like the ICE raid on the hospital is a good example of that. It's not subtle, but it doesn't need to be. But what it does is put a face on something that can feel abstract or distant for like a lot of viewers, especially
white people.
I was gonna say middle America.
White people.
Yeah,
not all people in middle America are white people, but it's a lot of them.
But it's white people who need to see it.
White people who need to see it, and so it's being grounded by like characters we already care about. And the situation with the media emotional stakes, you're not watching like a news segment, but you're watching Eddie-Diaz like stand in a hospital hallway trying to protect people he made a promise to. And that's the difference. So 911 has always been at its best when it uses the procedural format as like a Trojan horse for the stuff that actually matters. And this is that.
I'm not going to speak too much on the ICE story because, again, white, but I was surprised that that they broached it like kind of at all, because they could have not. So I'm not like giving them flowers for it or anything, because I don't think it was like, groundbreaking or went as hard as they like could have. But I do think that it's important to show, and I'm glad that they did it.
Yeah.
They could have easily not done it.
Yeah, I think I explained in when we did our 9/16 special or our live watch or whatever. And for people who don't know, I come from a Latina background. I know the stories. I know what happens. Yes, this isn't as hard as they could have gone with it. And Eddie-Diaz has plot armor.
Mhm.
I saw some stuff about like, oh, you know, if this was realistic, Eddie-Diaz would have also been taken. And I was like,
Yeah, but we need him.
We need him. He's got plot armor, and this is also like development for him as well, which I'll also get into later. But yeah, so I'm glad that we didn't shy away from it and that we did it that way. And I like that, you know, how it's tied together with the other storyline that Athena has. Like, I don't know, like I just love all of these interwoven
with
stories.
With the corrupt detective. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it works all really nicely together. I do also think that like I understand like him saying like introducing himself as Eddie-Diaz. Like I understand people are like, oh, if it was realistic, they would have taken him. But also he did say LAFD.
Yes.
So I think that also gives him, you know, some armor there too.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, speaking of Athena's storyline, or specifically that cliffhanger.
Ooh, yeah.
Girl.
Ooh, girl.
Ooh, girl got shot.
Did you guys like pause play that like multiple times like I did? So like, something's wrong with her vest, right? Because there was blood spatter.
I saw the blood spatter.
It pierced her vest.
I thought it was like it hit the top of the vest where it was like the strap, so it may not have been like fully covered because it was hard to see. It looked like she got shot
exactly
in like,
where it happened.
No, because it looked like
the blood is like on the vest.
Yeah.
So like I felt like maybe he gave her like a defective vest or something. I don't know.
I was kind of thinking, I was trying to see like where she got shot, like when she went like boom.
Yeah.
And it looked like upper chest area, like close to shoulder, but maybe not quite. Because it did look like, I'm sure it was a stunt double, but someone went like boom, like shoulder went back first. So I think it's somewhere high enough that like the vest doesn't necessarily like cover all of it. Obviously, it's not like a heart shot because the vest covers that. I don't know.
Okay, so I rewatching that scene, I had to stop because I'm like, our 9B has been there's been so many red herrings. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I don't know, because for some reason I was watching back like Crooked Detective. I forgot his name actually. Like, I'm so sorry.
Hooks.
Right. Right, that's his name. So like I was watching all that back, and I was like, I know we already feel like he feels shady in general, and it just makes sense to like assume that he's just shady as hell because of the way he's talking on the phone. He's like, oh, we got a problem or whatever. But with, again, the season of red herrings, I'm like, maybe they're making us think again that he's bad, but he actually isn't. Okay, so like, you know, some stuff that's been out here, like the Russian mob guy's son. I don't remember character names, so I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, Anatoly or something.
So obviously I think Anatoly's or whatever his name is, he's going to be main villain. I think he's going, I know this is more on the what we're expecting for the next episode, but I think like, I don't know. I just think that maybe Hooks shot Athena to either not like blow up some kind of cover that he has. And that call that we were shown in 916, like maybe he knows enough about the 118 or Athena. So like if the 118 are involved, Athena Grant's involved, and that's just a major problem for anyone because Athena Grant doesn't leave anything alone.
Yeah.
She's just snooping. So so it could be like she could have blown his cover if he's actually like kosher. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I don't know. I'm really interested to see
which
like
direction
how this plays out. But I was like, oh, it's the son, because it was like obviously the dad is like dead. And the son was, you know, very specifically had this conversation that we saw for a reason, obviously, because it's taking up screen time of like his dad being like, I just don't think you show like initiative or something.
He's like, I'll take initiative by killing you. I don't know.
Yeah, we can expand on that a little bit more in like our body system theory section, because like I do think it's interesting.
Yeah.
I also thought that he was way too calm when they all showed up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I have more thoughts about this. Yeah. Something else we always like to point out, but the lighting in this episode. Chef's kiss. So good. Like,
yes.
Russ dog.
I said high-fiving 1,000 energies.
Yes. No, it really feels like that to watch it, honestly. Because like Russ Dog hitting that colorful lighting yet again, just like the way he plays with color, just like I think we've seen all season long is just like so gorgeous. Like specifically 905, 907, 913, this episode, like and I think specifically like the neon lighting, which they've been using a lot in his episodes as well. So like the indoor play place scene that had like the LEDs going and how it was like, I mean, it's rainbow, obviously, but like the way when it got to Hen's coverage, it was like more pinkies and oranges, kind of like lesbian colors. And for Eddie, it's like blues and greens. And then Buck is always like in these pinks and purples and stuff. Like, it's just so good. I love the way he plays with the color lightings. I think it's very effective. It did feel very much like the diner in 913 where they used those neon signs as well. Just appreciate it. Also that romantic ass golden hour lighting on the bridge. I think we all love that. Where yet again, Eddie is framed as the light. Like the sun is literally behind him, like haloing him, right? Yeah. and Buck on the other side is like fully illuminated by that light.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. So I'm sure they specifically wanted to film that scene during, that sunsetty time. And it just, thank you. Thank you for the feast for our eyes, because just the lighting. I don't know what else I can say about it. It's just so good.
Yes. Just everything. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the first time they've even done this with Harry, but it was really good, having to do some telling instead of showing, to do a little bit of audience catch up on things that happened pre-season 7, because, 911 does not assume that the current audience on ABC has watched everything that aired on Fox, which is smart to do. So they do a little bit of catch up sometimes, and they used Harry in this instance, not knowing anything about Buck being a sperm donor, so that the audience can know what the hell is happening. And that was really smart.
Yeah. And also, speaking of which, when Harry gets all of this information, just the play place scene in general, Han, I think you touched on it a little bit. It was so very like in the same vein of the fire engine chats that we always love and we've kind of been missing a little bit. So I think they've been inserting them a little bit more, not necessarily on the engines. So it's kind of similar to, I think it was 914 when everyone was like getting the gossip from Harry and then Ravi and then Hen, and it just kind of like spread immediately. And just like how tightly knit everyone is, and they're all just like having this conversation and just like, bits of information getting spread around very quickly. And just the conversation in general was hilarious. They are in a child's play area talking about very grown up things.
They're just a bunch of grown first responders in a child's play place, just saying sperm really loud. Repeatedly.
Yeah, that's
so funny.
Problematic if they weren't doing it.
They're just that family. They're just that family that is loud everywhere they go, and they just say out of pocket shit, and everyone around them is like, hello?
They're kind of inappropriate, but it's not inappropriate for them. But for anyone else,
the guy in the slide is like, it's kind of hot in here. Could we maybe, you guys like deal with your crisis later?
And also, meanwhile, like these people on the calls are just getting like this random hot gossip. And it's like, if I were one of those,
I'd be like,
I would be telling my friends afterwards, like,
no, I'd be asking them I'd be like, wait, I think I need more information.
And then I'd be telling like you guys later, you'll never guess what happened.
Yeah. It's also kind of like funny because they are also in the play recreational zone, and like, how kids are always saying the darnest things.
Oh yeah. Oh,
they're just
all
yelling.
Those kids are gonna
now they're
go home.
Well, there's that, but it's our grown children are also just yelling sperm all over the place.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
They are our grown children.
Yeah,
love them.
Yep. Grown children.
It's just so fun.
Love our family. So we think that there might have been, I mean, correct us if we're wrong, but we think that there's some new
composed music,
like background music soundtrack for the bridge scene. And even if it's not new, same effect. It was gorgeous. Like, it just really set the mood. Like, once the slow-mo starts and we're like really in Buck's perspective, like it just really gets you in the emotional space that you need to be. The music really like drives it and carries you to where you need to be. And I really think it was different because I specifically was like, whoa, because normally the background music kind of, because they use a lot of the same stuff, which is good.
Yeah.
Like, it's good stuff, but they use it a lot. So it just kind of fades into the background to me, which is kind of what it's there for. You're not supposed to necessarily notice it. It's just there as like an aid to like help, again, get you emotionally where the scene is trying to get you to go textually. But I really think that this was new and it's beautiful. And I would love to see it again.
Yeah.
Hear it again.
Hear it again. Yeah.
Yes.
I know what you meant. Yeah, I think because you're so tuned to music stuff, but I think it's like when I can pick up on something and I'm like, that sounds a little different than normal, then I'm like, this might be something. And I love the way it was composed and the whole scene like got into slow-mo and it was just the music and not so much like the sounds of the emergency itself, which sometimes they do, where it's like even a little distorted and there's some music. I think it was just the music. And I kind of am very curious because this seems so not like our typical 911 motifs that we hear so often. And I believe the composer, or one of the composers, is Todd Haberman. I kind of wonder if this is the Buck and Theo motif. So maybe we'll see, because this would be a new dynamic, right? That they would have to kind of like find something that fits. And if they wrote this specifically for that, I have a feeling we'll be seeing that again with more Buck and Theo stuff. I hope we do. Like, I hope that's their motif because it was kind of beautiful.
I mean, it's kind of gut wrenching, so I think it'd probably be for like bittersweet things.
Yeah, or like
yeah,
you can have the like similar motifs, but like put them in different keys or different like
true
stuff. Like,
yeah,
this was probably more of a minor key. You can put it in a major key and have it like follow the same and follow the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I wonder if we will be seeing that again, specifically for Buck and Theo scenes. So now I'm gonna like keep an ear out for it. Also, something else that worked for me/us, how absolutely precious Theo is.
Oh my god,
he's so
cute.
Oh my god, like when we saw the stills and it was just like, oh my god, that kid is adorable. But then he opened his mouth and it was like, oh my god. Like, casting always does a great job.
Yeah.
They did a fantastic job finding the two twins that play Theo. I was sold immediately. Not that I wasn't. I was kind of on board anyways, but like the whole point, the whole part where, you know, once they get him down from the electrical tower and it's the whole like, they ask, do you know where you live? At home. Where's home? Our house. I was just like, that's so cute. And that's such a 4-year-old like kind of,
it really is,
logic. Like it was perfect. And I was just like, I'm done. I need to
reminding
go.
me of my oldest nephew, who is 12 now, but when he was 4, it was this like facetious, I was like, you're 4, how can you be so sarcastic? It's so funny.
But it's so genuine too,
yes,
right?
Yes. But it made me think of like this moment, because, you know, just cutest little kid. And we were at, me and my sister-in-law were at Starbucks with him, and someone came up and was just like, you're just so cute, and was trying to talk to him. And he was like, I don't like you.
Incredible.
Just like no filter. So I don't know. It was he's so precious on his own, but I was like, oh, this is a 4-year-old, and this is a 4-year-old that has Buck's neurodivergence.
Yeah.
Some personality
like
for sure.
Yeah. 100%. He's just adorable. His little voice. God. And then like when he runs and the giggle. No, one of my favorite sounds in the entire world is a little kid giggle. So it was just like, it's too cute. I die.
Depends. I don't want to hear that in a dark room though.
No. Him up on that electrical tower, like ominously with a balloon hanging over him, I would have been like,
Petty.
911, come here. As soon as 911 was there, bye. I don't know what horror movie this is, but I don't want to be part of it.
It was giving it.
Yeah, it was giving
because I was
it,
like,
yeah.
how did he get up there? That's a demon. I even tried. I didn't put a lot of effort into it, but I tried to Google like how would someone climb an electrical tower like that.
I thought
He has some good upper body strength for a 4-year-old.
thought there was like a small little ladder like onto the side when I think in the behind the scenes I think I saw it.
Okay.
So maybe
There would
that's
have to be.
Yeah.
I had before it was the balloon had gotten away from him and he was chasing the balloon from the stills. I kind of thought it might have been something like we saw in the pilot from Nashville where like the kite took the kid and it was like woo, and I was like, that's
he got
possible. Yeah. One balloon.
or the actual time the balloon took someone away on this show. What season was that?
Hot air balloon.
No, not the hot air balloon, like actual balloons at the girl's birthday.
Yes, it was at the girl's quinceañera and she had like she was on a chair and then she had a bunch of balloons and she got
that was season 5. Jonah was there.
Yeah, I think that was Jonah's first episode, I think.
Oh God.
But then we also had Nashville.
Yes, we did, which was crazy.
Yeah. I really thought, I'm not gonna lie, I really thought that that's how Theo was gonna get up there.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I think we discussed this. We were like, I think we've seen this season. A different show.
Yeah.
But either way, it's fine. I'm hand wave, whatever.
Yeah.
Kid is adorable.
That was the only thing about the episode that I was like, how did he get up there?
Find a way.
If there has to be some sort of stairwell or something, yeah.
All right, so like what could have worked differently or better? I mean, they fixed it. Okay, so I'm just going to say like, so to preface this, we were at the panel in New Jersey and Ryan said some stuff about like how...
He said some stuff about things.
He said some stuff about how, like, it would have been. And actually, I think it's in an interview that the girls did. So Sophia Soto and Whitney Evans did. I think they asked him some stuff, and he also revealed it there. But like, it sounded like, from what I could gather, like he wasn't totally included in the human trafficking ICE storyline as much. And so, he said something about like asking the proper questions, and Tim had rewrote, I think he said storyline. And so like, I guess for me, it's like good on them for listening to him. Good on them to, actively like jumping on that and rewriting. But I guess my question is, why wasn't he, a part of that originally like that? And so it just brings me to question, if you're going to like write storylines like this that talk about like ICE and talk about, well, anything with like, a Latino character or anything that happens to Latinos, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Involve the Latino character.
Like you should be involving the Latino character. So it just made me question it a little bit. I was just kind of like, I'm sure there has to be a consultant in that writer's room. I'm sure they've consulted other people.
They've brought in like sensitivity readers before. So I would hope that they did again, but also like,
and it's not that I think it would be an insensitivity, but it would be like, why wouldn't that character be involved in this? Which I think is what Ryan said, like Eddie would want to be involved in this, which is true. Yes. Like it would be like having any sort of storyline where it's like something that specifically affects a marginalized group of people, and then we don't have, like something that affects Black people, and we don't have Hen involved or Athena involved, or any of the many Black people on the show involved, and it was just everyone else except them. That would be weird.
That would be weird. Yeah.
So, and then if there's something that affects South Asians and why can't I say his character? And Ravi isn't involved. I was like, Anirudh, that's not the character's name. Who am I? Kenny?
Oh my God.
But yeah, it would be like having, like a South Asian storyline and something's happening, discrimination there, and then Ravi's not involved. Like it's kind of just like, maybe let's just do a check so that it's great that Ryan, feels comfortable enough to speak up, and everyone's collaborative enough to be like, oh yeah, of course, and write it into there. But I'm just like, feel like it should have been thought of before that.
Correct. Yeah. I'm also just gonna add, like, I'm not trying to assume anyone's ethnicities in the writer's room either, but maybe get a Latino writer in there as well to kind of help.
Yeah, I am very glad that Ryan felt comfortable enough to advocate for himself to be included in the storyline, because I do think it made it more like a richer storyline.
Yeah,
because of it. So than if he weren't.
Agreed. Okay, so this is my opinion, and Rachel and Sil can co-sign or agree with however much that they actually agree with, but this is my specific opinion, is that, and we've been saying kind of this season that like we want more from Maddie, we want more Maddie storylines, but this Maddie storyline in this episode felt really shoehorned in to just give her something to do, since she hasn't had a lot of her own storyline focus this season. And like the first time that I watched it, I was like, oh, this is like cringe comedy, like said positively, like Buckley family,
like affectionate
Buckley sibling cringe comedy, like, oh, they're trying so hard and it's going horribly wrong. And it's like, ha ha ha, hee hee ha ha. And unless you have a bigger version to vomit, which I do. I can't do vomiting in real life, but like on the screen is fine. So like I was laughing. It was hee hee ha ha. But like when I was rewatching it, I was literally skipping it. Because I rewatched it 3 times. Because I just don't think that the storyline, like, first of all, like it didn't really move her further along, and especially in like the penultimate episode, it didn't really feel like necessary, especially with the other storylines we had going on. Like I don't necessarily know that we needed more time on like Buck and Theo, but we definitely could have used more time on, the human trafficking ICE storyline. We really could have used more time on that, especially because we had 4 plots. We had A, B, C, D plot in this, and Maddie was B plot, and that just kind of like doesn't make sense. I think the distribution of the story would have made more sense if it was Buck A plot, Eddie and Hen B plot, Athena C plot. Like it just felt like this storyline for Maddie was like a launching point to maybe explore her balancing the like work and home life balance. But like we're not going to explore more of that until season 10. So like why did it start here in this episode when we have much bigger, more important things that we could have focused more of our time on and could have used more breathing room and like space to really explore more? Like, I don't think it was necessarily bad. I just feel like it's taking up some much needed space where it wasn't doing much, and it doesn't feel like it can like flow into anything naturally until next season.
I agree with 99% of all that. I think the only thing, and I think this is a pattern for them, is when you like, it's just, I think it's just queuing it up maybe for next season. That's pretty much it. Just that it's queuing it up, and I think we'd be more frustrated if they did this in the finale than doing it here.
Oh, for sure.
So like that's the only way I'm trying to like kind of excuse it. But like I also was like, man. We could have done more with like Eddie Hen, Athena.
Yeah.
So, but that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. Because I did like the storyline. I like the way that they've been in the last couple times we've touched on Maddie in 9 B, C, D, whatever we're on now. How it kind of parallels Maddie's journey into leadership roles with Chimneys, and I do like that, and I like having that in the same season. I think it would have been fine if it was in season 10. I also do completely understand why they put it in the penultimate episode, so like they didn't have to do that in the finale. I do kind of wonder, and I'll try to get back to this maybe when we do our season wrap further along later in the summer, after we rewatch the season, to see like, I wonder if we could have moved this Maddie leadership storyline up a little earlier in like the second half of the season, and have that flow a little easier then, or just like keep it all to season 10. So I will be looking out for that, because I feel like it was just an awkward place to put it in. I get why they did it in the penultimate. And I do think that the Eddie and Hen and Athena plot, where it was technically it's like 2 different plots that coalesce into one. I think that did end up getting a little bit of the short stick because of the having more focus on the Maddie storyline. Not that I didn't like it. The stuff with Eddie and Hen and Athena could have been fleshed out a little more and a little more deeply if this Maddie storyline was, again, not gone, but maybe just like placed slightly differently. So I get what they did it, but I also have like some thoughts about it.
I don't hate it. I don't think it's bad. I just feel like even if like they wrote it and then in the edit and you're looking at all of the stuff you had, like I'm sure they cut, you know what I mean? They always film way more than they have time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, if I was the person looking at the edit, I would be like, I would be like, maybe we should do less of the Maddie stuff or push this until next season, because it's like, it wasn't really tied into anything else that was happening. So it wasn't like it specifically had to. And like this episode, but like I just would have probably prioritized the Eddie Hen Athena storyline, because it's really important, it's big, and it's leading into this finale too.
Mm-hmm. And I do understand also, like we talk about the tones that 911 balances so well. So like they did have the heartwarming and the kind of drama, and then Maddie's was obviously the levity.
It wasn't really levity though,
but it was, well, like the cringe comedy, like you were saying. Yeah. So
you know what I will say? I think it's also a good avenue here. Okay. I think it's a good avenue to kind of have her storyline, her doing something else as a way to have her separate from Buck.
Yes.
Or else she would have been all up in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When I think.
No, that makes total sense.
And that's not a bad thing. I know I just said it like that, but like it's not a bad thing. But I think it does help to kind of keep her busy while Buck is having his own storyline, having his own development. And so he's not always leaning on Maddie. And I think we've seen that throughout the season, where he's leaning on other characters that is not Maddie. And like, which I think is also interesting, because if we're setting up, you know, Buck and Eddie, it pays off to have Maddie do something else. And also when you think about like season 3 and like in the Taking of Dispatch, when you would assume that Buck is going to be there for Maddie because she was you know, held hostage and stuff like that. But it was Chimney. And it's Chimney that's being the one that's supporting her. Like, this is how we kind of transition.
No, I love that read. That makes a lot of sense. Like,
I see what you're saying, but they could have just showed her at work. She didn't need the whole B plot. You know what I mean?
Okay, like how we usually see her do all the calls. Yeah. I think it's also a check-in for Sue, because we kind of just left her at the hospital.
Sure, I get it. I get why it's there. I just think that maybe we could have prioritized it differently. That's all.
No, I agree. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Timing-wise, I think we could have used a little less on it. But I do like what I think they're doing, which is trying to separate them.
Agreed.
Yeah, the reasoning behind it, totally fine with.
Yeah.
Just the how much time.
Man, I remember how people got
where in the season.
I'm sorry. I just remember how people got so mad, and which is a great, because we're going to go into our actually section. But I remember people being so mad last season, you know, with like 810 in her kidnapping plot, and like, why wasn't Buck more involved? Why isn't Buck doing this? Why isn't, like, I just it's okay. Guys, welcome to our latest actually section. Needless to say, the Theo storyline has been divisive, just like everything else, just like what I just mentioned.
So, great transition.
I made the mistake of proposing this take on Twitter, which is my bad. I know better, but I want to sit with it for a second, because like I think it's worth unpacking. So here's the thing: just because you don't like a storyline doesn't automatically make it bad writing. Those are two genuinely different things, and I think it's worth like being honest about which one we're actually doing. Like earlier, I said I am the season 6 stoner story big hater. I don't think it's bad writing. I just don't like it. For example. So I've seen a lot of passionate reactions to my tweet. Look, valid, feel your feelings. I never said that you couldn't or shouldn't. But when I try to pin down like why people are calling it bad writing specifically, what I'm mostly getting is a list of reasons they don't like it. So let's address some of those.
Okay, so the first kind of like reasoning is it erases Chris, or it's bioessentialism.
So tired of this word.
I'm tired of this word.
So this one's kind of interesting, because we'd actually argue that the setup is doing the exact opposite, right? So Buck being biologically related to Theo doesn't automatically mean that the show is saying that blood trumps found family. that's a reading you can have, I guess, but it's not the only reading. It's certainly not the reading that I think we have. And the show itself hasn't really made that argument explicit yet, nor do I think they really will go in that direction at all. So it's so like deeply rooted in found family. So you'd really need the narrative to actually reward that framing where it's like, you know, putting Buck as like the ultimate father because he's biologically related to Theo and have the narrative reward that before you can call it bioessential. They're not doing that.
No. So, actually, the episode goes out of its way multiple times to establish that Buck is not Theo's dad. Connor calls him his kid. That's not like the same thing. He's saying, I'm his dad. He's your kid. Like he has your genetics is what he's saying. Whatever his personality or this diagnosis is, it's coming from you, not us. The show isn't arguing that blood equals family. It's doing something more specific. Like what Buck is recognizing in Theo isn't a biological claim. It's a neurological one. The kid inherited the way his brain works. And Buck is uniquely positioned to understand him in a way his parents couldn't because his parents seem very painfully neurotypical. Like that's not blood trumping found family. That's actually the foundation of a really specific and compelling found family story. Like we see him have a connection to Theo. Mm-hmm. Like I think most of the connection we see him having to Theo is before he knows that Theo is the donor kid.
Mm-hmm. Because he can connect with him on like a... Mm-hmm. I am
my brain works the same way.
Rambunctious kind of person as well. Like
exactly.
He's the only one that was able to like kind of keep up with running around after him. That's and we'll probably get into a little bit of this later. That's like we're talking a lot about like nature and nurture stuff.
Yes.
This is purely like a nature thing.
Yes.
But it's not the only thing.
No, and I'm going to call it ADHD. The show didn't say ADHD, but it's ADHD and it is hereditary.
The next point that people keep saying about the show that is on a subsidiary network of the Kill Your Parents Club.
Like, forget about the Mickey Mouse Club.
It's the Kill Your Parents Club up in here at Walt Disney Studios.
Yep.
So, it's cruel to kill off Connor and Kameron. I mean, okay, first of all, you're watching a drama procedural. Parents die. Also, again, this furthers plots for our main characters. But yeah, like it's not a writing flaw. It's a genre convention. Question isn't whether it happened. It's whether it was earned or purposeful within the story. Killing characters to create stakes and catalyze change in a lead character is like television 101. Killing characters, I mean, it's fine. It's fine. Like I said, are you fictional? I'm just going to say, like, are you complaining at every Disney movie where they kill off a character on the movies that are more directed for children? Are you actually complaining about that?
Lion King.
Are you
for
starting
example.
moral campaigns on Twitter.com?
Like, I'm sorry. Like, that is actually so... I'm sorry. That is actually
the plot
so stupid.
Of The Lion King, you are...
Hey, Frozen?
You support dead parents. Literally every Disney movie.
They're all dead.
It's just so silly.
Or at least one of them.
But yeah.
Or I went into Schmidt mode.
Also, I would just like to say realism, because a lot of people have dead parents. That's a thing that happens in real life.
Bobby's dead. I'm sorry. Bobby's dead.
I'm not sure that's the example we want to
No, it's not. It's not. I'm sorry. I take it back for all of you guys who are, who really were.
Let's not start more discourse inside the discourse.
We're in the discourse section. I think it's proper.
Discourse or
it's like discourse inception.
Starting these moral discourse types of discussion. I'm sorry. Like, I just think this is stupid. Again, this is to further the plot. This is to further Buck's story, which, again, actually, that's more discourse within the discourse.
I would like to say that I think that having conversations about the morality of situations that we watch in fiction and talking about real life implications, that would make sense. But to assign the morality to the fiction itself is weird. And I don't know why we're doing that, because they're not real.
Also, you don't care about Connor and Kameron.
Yes, or you liking this is bad because blah blah blah. Like
it's a weird hill to die on because they're so tertiary to any of our characters. So, actually, for what it's worth, the show wasn't villainizing Connor and Kameron on the way out either. So they were two people who wanted Theo so badly that they came to Buck to have them. They really did love their kid. They were overwhelmed and unprepared for a neurodivergent child when they themselves most likely, and I think pretty obviously, are not neurodivergent. And instead of giving up, they were actively seeking help. They sought out specialists. They were trying to find help to understand their child, including showing up at Buck's store to try to understand Theo better. That's not bad parenting bad parenting being punished. It's realistic and a pretty compassionate portrait of parents doing their best with something that they weren't equipped for. And I'm really glad we included this because I do have a lot of compassion for Connor and Kameron. I think they're different than let's say Margaret and Philip. Because
they wouldn't bother.
They didn't bother.
Going back to what Maddie said, where they're not bad people, just bad parents. Connor and Kameron are not bad people and they're not bad parents.
No.
They're just not great at parenting their specific child.
Yeah.
But they were trying.
They're trying.
And that sets them apart from the other bad parents that we see in the show, namely the Buckleys, the Diazes, Chimney's dad, not his mom. All of them, right? So Bobby's parents. Yeah. So Connor and Kameron, good parents trying their best. Their best wasn't always good enough, but they were trying because they love their kid.
Yeah. And I know if you did watch our live reaction when Hannah and I were just I know this doesn't help the case that we're building. I know that. But again, this is us taking a step back from our first reactions and being analytical about it.
I stand by it.
I also stand by it. But we also do take those steps back to analyze the whole picture of it all, and not have a one single focused reading of their parenting. So I just want to point it out.
And I hope that anyone watching that reaction would know that us going, well, maybe it's a good thing they're dying because Buck is better equipped to parent this child does not reflect how we would feel about real, actual, living human being parents.
Yeah.
Because I've never once been wow, I hope you die and that someone else is in the wings who would do a better job. That's not how that works. I can laugh at fictional characters dying because they're not real. It's not serious. I had no attachment to these characters and be honest, none of you did either.
Exactly. So just to kind of sum this up and then we can go to the next point. It was cruel to kill off Connor and Kameron. The only reason they brought them back was they were using them as a plot device.
They've always been there as a plot device.
Once they came back on screen, you had to know something was gonna go wrong with them specifically. So
Meg whether or not you knew, said as soon as she saw them on screen, she knew they were dead.
Oh, exactly. So whether or not you knew about the spoilers ahead of time, media literacy. If Connor and Kameron are randomly coming back, something's gonna happen to them.
Yeah, if we hadn't seen the spoilers and we saw them show up, we would have been like,
uh-oh,
it's not looking great for you.
No. That seems bad.
Yep. Okay, so the next thing that I have seen a few times is it doesn't tell us anything new about Buck. And this one, I guess, actually deserves the most engagement or thought because it's the closest to a real argument. But even here, we're one episode into this storyline. Calling a storyline shallow or bad writing before it's developed is kind of like calling a pilot episode of a TV show being well, that didn't wrap up or tell me anything about the characters.
No, it sets it up.
No, it's we're in the first. This is not even the first act. This is just the beginning of the first act.
It's the prologue.
And
it just started.
Yeah, and they're definitely not wrapping this up in the finale because we've got a bunch of shit happening. This is going to carry on into season 10 structurally. And logistically, yeah, anyway, sorry. So anyway, actually, it's already telling us new things. The detail that reframes everything is that Buck ghosted them, not the other way around. He held Theo the day he was born, said he was perfect, handed him back, and then made a deliberate choice to disappear because he knew he couldn't stay involved and keep his feelings compartmentalized. That's not impulsive season 1 Buck blundering into things. That's someone who reflected, recognized his own limits, and made a hard call. And now he's going to want to make sure Theo always feels loved and wanted, not because of biology, but because he knew what it feels like not to. And he's not going to let this kid feel that way. So yeah, we're 1 episode in. The story is just getting started, like I just said.
Yeah. Like, wait to judge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fully,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah. I think we're gonna get a lot of payoff from the storyline. I trust it. Like I said, like I think I also said this in the live, and I know people are not gonna like when I say this part, but Theo is a plot device. Chris is a plot device. All the children on the show are plot devices except for now May and Harry.
Yep.
So. Yeah. They can like develop into their own characters, but at this point in time, yeah,
they're plot
because they help further our main characters' stories.
Main characters can be used as plot devices too. Yeah, that's it's not a bad thing to call them a plot device.
No,
but it's like children specifically in network television are kind of plot devices because it's like you can't really make a small child a main character in a long running network procedural. It's very hard to give them a lot of screen time to fully develop them as a character that has their own world that gives them things that would make them not just a plot device. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Really, the only time you kind of see that is like in a show suited for children, like Disney Channel, Nickelodeon, and usually they're still older. So, you can only do so much. So going back to our next point that we keep seeing is it's not realistic that Buck would get custody. So, and I know I'm guilty of like saying that at a point, but like, happy to also admit that like realism complaints about 911 are a choice. You gotta kind of like hand wave a lot of it away.
It's not even hand waving it. It's like you just gotta work within the internal logic of the show.
Yeah. Yes. The constraints within the universe realism.
Yeah. So actually, and even setting the realism thing aside, like none of the arguments that are the realism arguments against it are deal breakers. Lots of single parents have custody. Firefighter, irregular schedule, sure, but it's not disqualifying. Past drug dependency, if it was addressed and resolved, it's not an automatic disqualification. Like these aren't nothing, but they're not individually or collectively like a no-go. Still did some separate research on this, and we even have someone who works in law on our Discord server who was agreeing with Sil that was like none of that is actually completely disqualifying.
Was that awesome?
Yes, Sasha.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh.
I tagged you because we were talking about it.
She's studying to be a lawyer.
Yeah,
so she is a lawyer.
Oh,
I can't remember, so that's why I just said like in working in law.
I would have to. Yeah, I would have to like go back to read some of that because like that's interesting.
Our buddy system lawyer.
Can we have her on retainer?
Yeah, so like we do know he ends up with Theo in some capacity by the end of 918 because of spoilers. Like, but the show is clearly going to do the work of getting him there. It isn't just going to be like, here you go, you magically have custody. Yeah, they're gonna tell us.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that he has full custody. There could be
stipulations.
There could be stipulations. He could just be like temporarily housed with Buck. We do not know yet. So like this argument right now makes no sense because A, it hasn't happened yet, and B, we don't know how it's happening.
I think we have another character that is going to be set up with this to make an argument about like why or how Buck ends up with Theo. It's just so funny that we brought in when we're talking about like my separate research and then Asha saying no, because I did also ask. I have a social worker on speed dial too. And it's just so interesting to like kind of see the differences in terms of like how the state of Florida, because I'm in Florida, the state of Florida handles this situation, and then the state of California handles the situation, and like Florida would absolutely be much more stricter than the state of California. So just bringing that up there, like bringing that out there, if you live in a certain state where you think this is not plausible or possible or anything, remember, like you're in a different state.
It could be different.
It could be different.
Yeah, in another state.
If you want to add in realism, and again, I just let the show tell me what's happening for the most part. But I was kind of like really annoyed seeing it's not realistic. I'm like, all right, you know what? Fine. I'm going to do my own separate research about it. And state of California has some wiggle room.
But you did your own research, and that's what's important.
Yeah.
Education.
All right. So in our next point, it's on the nose, or it's shoehorned in.
They're separate things. It's like it's too obvious. Is like it's too on the nose, or like shoehorned in is like it's really
like crammed in there.
Like really crammed in there, and they had to like really stretch to like make it happen, and it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So actually, these two complaints kind of cancel each other out, like kind of just said, because they're two separate things. So if you hold them next to each other, but let's explore, take it seriously on the subtlety front about how, this is too on the nose. Like, this is 911. The show bonks you on the head all the time. It delivers its emotional thesis via simultaneous metaphor, disasters, or emergencies every single week. It has these, themes throughout episodes, which we talk about mostly in our rewatches, that are so kind of like, overarching of anyone's storyline in that episode. And that's not a flaw. That is like the actual format of the show. So 911 is not usually subtle. It is usually pretty on the nose. There are some things that it does subtly. This is not among that kind of thing. With the whole, like, it was shoehorned coming out of nowhere, it didn't. Buck, like, this goes all the way back to season 6. So Buck donating, Buck delivering Theo, Buck holding him and saying he's perfect, and then making the conscious and deliberate choice to walk away. That thread has been sitting just like in the corner for 4 years. You can have a conversation about whether the execution is landing for you. That's a valid conversation to have. But you can't call it shoehorned when they kind of clearly always intended to come back to it after the fact that it was picked up again. Like there's some conversation in here about like, well, it wasn't intended to come back to because like the show was canceled, but then like it was uncanceled. So it's just kind of been a loose thread that is an option of a storyline for them to go back to anytime.
And I like to go along with this, the like out of nowhere thing. People are saying that there wasn't foreshadowing. Like maybe if there was foreshadowing, there has been foreshadowing all season. Yeah. There has been foreshadowing for this all season. Yeah, and like we didn't know what it was going to be for specifically, but like it's been very family partner focused for Buck. And then we had Eddie and Buck deliver a baby and have that whole speech of like, I didn't know you existed 5 seconds ago, but like now I love you. Like, and we broke that down in that episode. So
you were like,
yeah,
the signs have been there.
The baby. Can I say? I can say it here. I can't say it on TikTok. The baby grenade.
We won't clip that and put it on TikTok.
Yeah, and honestly, like I do think it just makes sense that they did wait to come back for it because logistically speaking, and some of the points that people are making, like the firefighter thing, you have irregular shifts or whatever, like first of all, yes. So there was a moment, there is that moment in season 6 where he hesitated, to give Theo, he did hesitate in a way to give Theo back to Cameron after he delivered him. Which I think was enough of a thread to like come back to it.
Totally.
But it's also like, because people are like, oh, like they never intended to come back to it. Well, okay, like having an infant like brings so many obstacles. And that's kind of like why I see why that it's perfect that they came back to it. Like it came back to the storyline now that he's a little older. To me, it makes sense. I don't think it's too shoehorned in or anything.
No, like just also logistically, if you want a child to like play an integral part in someone's storyline, it's going to be hard to do that with a baby, like because they're so dependent on, like their real parents, right? Then they can't really do anything. But by the time they're a toddler, they can speak, they can like have the capability to act a little bit and like actually like say lines.
Yes.
And, you know.
Yeah. I mean, just to add, I mean, how many times have we seen Circle Baby?
Not many.
I feel like, is it 2 so far? 3
2
maybe.
or 3?
2 or 3 maybe. And Circle Baby's just sitting there, so.
So, and like, just think about when G was really, really young in like seasons 4 and 5. She couldn't do much because that was a baby.
Yeah.
So like waiting a little bit allows the story to actually utilize, just like very logistically utilize them as a character. Going back to kind of what Han said about like, if it's a lack of foreshadowing that's bugging you, not only did they foreshadow in some very specific ways, like the cryptic pregnancy call in 907, but I think the way that they've been subtly building on Buck's character throughout the entire season does the foundational work to support this storyline, honestly. So we have a Buck who's worked deeply to actually like the person he's become and realize he wants to eventually find some personal purpose outside of the job and his immediate found family. So like he's reflecting on his future and what he wants that to look like, and having a partner, and kids would be included in that. And this is a Buck who has learned how to be a rock for his people, which he didn't know last season, but he's also learned more recently how to reach out and let them shoulder some of the weight for him as well, which is exactly what Buck would need moving forward into season 10, because it takes a village, doesn't it? So he's really like, it's been subtle throughout the whole season, but it's been working his character towards this kind of moment the whole time, in my opinion.
Yeah. Also random, I don't know if we want to include this or not, but I just did the math because it was like, oh, his weird schedule. So how many days off does a normal person who works 9 to 5 have off a month?
How many
2 days.
2 days a week. How many days a month?
8 days.
8 days off, right? Because they work Monday through Friday. They have 2 days off a week, right? LAFD schedule is 24 hours on, 24 hours off. They do that 3 times and they have 4 days off, meaning he gets 20 days off a month. And it's always like 4 days in a row after his on-off rotation. So that's like, I would argue, way more quality time with the kid than a regular 9 to 5 worker has.
Because you get like the whole day instead of just like 5 p.m. to whatever.
And 4 days in a row. Also, 20, that's over twice the amount of time off.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
All you have to do is get the coverage for the 24 hours on.
Yeah.
But like, that's why you have found family and daycare, night care.
Yeah. Home care.
Yes. Makes sense.
Anyway, hope that was useful for anyone to give you some perspective on just like, you know, sometimes we don't like storylines and that's okay. And it's always okay to have your feelings about storylines.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like if you're going to come into my mentions and tell me it's bad writing, tell me why it's bad writing for actual real reasons why you think it's bad. Because all the reasons I'm saying are just like, I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's bad because of this thing. And
at least tell us why.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know.
With some substance.
So as a hee ha ha, you know what other show did this like random, let's bring a kid in?
Oh, I wonder what you're going to say right now.
Season 13. Well, it was at the end of well, no, it was set up in season 12. And then the kid was born in the last episode of season
Supernatural.
12. So sorry, yes, it was Supernatural. Supernatural introduced Jack, so that they can do a nature versus nurture type of thing with him. He was basically, he was Sam, Dean, and Cass's kid, but I mean, like, he took on a lot of Cass stuff. It's just like, and I know people didn't like it.
I didn't like it at the beginning. I was like, what are we doing?
What
are we doing? And then I liked it. Because
I
what I did? I watched it and then I formed my opinion on the story as I watched. Instead of just writing it off before I saw how it happened. But
yeah. And they also did the same kind of thing where they like very quickly endeared you to Jack. But yes, they very quickly endeared you to Jack. So then it was like, oh, he's our child now.
Yeah.
And it was also I'm sorry, a Destiel plot device, whether they did that on purpose or not.
Oh, yeah.
It was completely.
It was really funny because Alex looks like Misha
Yes.
and Jensen had a baby.
Combined.
It's
No,
so
like
funny.
literally, the memes were going crazy.
To the point that they got into it and they got like the
actors.
paternity test little
Mhm.
video thing. Like that was funny.
Yep.
Yeah. But I think that is a great comparison, and maybe we'll have to get into this at a later point as well. Maybe for like a best buddy section or something.
Sometime in season 10 could be interesting.
Yeah.
Or in 10. Because
Yeah.
so much of Jack's storyline was about nature versus nurture, because TLDR, spoiler alert, I guess,
Oh yeah.
he's the son of
Lose.
Satan.
Yes.
So like,
That's good.
but he was being raised by Cass, Sam, and Dean.
Yeah.
And
She's not using flowery language. She's actually the son of
no,
Satan.
it was actually Lucifer. like Lucifer was the father, like Maury Povich and everything. Like, you are the father. But
Well,
like,
also, by the way, played by Mark Pellegrino, which you see in Cell
Brawl and Cell Block 911, who held Buck and Eddie hostage and
It's
threatened
not
their
just
child. Yeah.
No, it's not just you. I can't do it either.
okay, great.
But when I hear it, I know you're wrong.
I know. I can't wait until we get to that episode. Anyways, so like Jack so often had to fight against, his quote unquote nature, or what people expected or put on him, and nurture, which was very much like loving, like he took after Castiel, being raised in a loving environment, not full of hate, or getting the ire from, the reputation of your Lucifer's son. So all of that, nature versus nurture, like biological parentage versus, the people who raise you, found family sort of thing. I think there's a lot of similarity that we could find there.
Kelly Klein, who is Jack's mom, got fridged. So giving birth. So
Rip.
At least Connor and Kameron
out.
got 4 years.
Okay, so here are some of our favorite character moments, or some highlights from this episode. So we'll start with Athena, and mine is so deeply unserious, so please don't ask me to elaborate. But I love the little fond pat that Athena gives to Eddie's arm when she's dropping off donations, and like the way she's looking at him while she's talking. It's just, I don't know. I love Eddie and Athena moments. Give me more of them. Thank you.
Why would you need to elaborate? That's perfect. Yes.
Yeah, I saw I can't remember who tweeted it, but someone was like, she knows that this man has no self-preservation, and so now she treats him a little more like she treats Buck, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like oh dear.
After the events of like
with Abigail,
9/11, and
yeah. I think the person was
cute.
like, she probably thought that he was like the second most reasonable person there after Hen before that, but now she knows the truth.
Now she knows better. She's like, I have to look after you two.
Yeah.
So my highlight for Athena is Athena wrangling up her lesbian wife and gay husband. And I love that we got all the divas together in Gabby's office for justice. I love that.
Yeah, all the divas. No, that's so true.
No, I mean, I just think powerhouse scene right there. I don't know. It was great. I loved it.
Yeah.
More of that, please.
Yeah. I love their team up. My highlight for Athena was showing up Detective Hooks once again by doing his work for him, when she interviewed the lady who saw the box truck and connecting it to Hook's primary suspect. And she basically did all the detective work, even if he said that he was already like close to making a arrest and knew exactly who did it. I'm so sure, but she did the legwork. Let's be real. Athena is a detective in my eyes, if not in badge yet.
The day this comes out. Okay, so for Maddie, my highlight for her is how she supported Buck at the end in the hospital with Theo. I love that she just showed up for him and was just there and wasn't really trying to like counsel him or like get him to really talk so much as just like be there and like be present for him, because he shouldn't have had to do that alone.
My highlight for Maddie, which isn't a highlight for her, is that the Buckley cringe factor is alive and well in both Buckleys.
It's genetic. Oh my God, it's genetic.
It's genetic. Yeah, like we don't normally get that with Maddie, but like it was definitely highlighted here. Actually, wait, I'll make an argument. She has a cringe factor. It's just that it's always tied to very serious storylines, like her stalking that one lady from season 3, 2 or 3? 3?
It's 3.
3, yeah. That was also some cringe in there.
It's cringe, but it was so like serious that it like overshot cringe and just went to like deeply concerning. But yeah, similarly for me, Maddie's whole like, I'm not a regular boss, I'm a cool boss shtick, where it's like, I'm gonna buy your love. It's like, you don't have to do that. And that was just like, I don't get secondhand embarrassment that often, but I did feel it a little bit in that moment. I was just like, it was
just do that.
It was when she was walking up to I think it was Linda and Jamal and Josh. She was like, hey guys. And I was just like, no. I was like, oh, Maddie. But it was like enjoyable in like a, oof, I feel sorry for your girl way.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so for Hen, my favorite part of her in this episode was when she was like, I want to know what's going on with Buck. So she goes to Eddie and how she just kind of has been the person, especially in the last like third of this season, who's really just like clocking Eddie's emotions and trying to be there for him and like be a sounding board. So, you know, she was asking how Buck was doing and how Eddie was doing with all of it. And, you know, just, you know, was a good therapist friend.
She is.
Yeah.
My highlight for Hen is Hen partnering up with Eddie with the migrants. And, you know, like they're just working together and I enjoy seeing that.
Again, similarly, I feel like this is a theme for me. I love our characters playing detective. So I love that she was playing detective, which we know like Hen has kind of teamed up with Athena in this way before. Yeah. So I love when she plays detective because they're good at it. And again, all Eddie and Hen and Eddie. No, Hen and Athena and Eddie all together playing detective.
All right, so Chimney, my highlight for Chimney, which is a highlight for me this entire season, is like how he does roast Buck. Buck is always catching strays from Chimney, but like he still goes out of his way to make sure he's okay, and you know, he's delivering some good old bro speeches to him.
Bro speeches.
Best bro speeches. Bro speeches for him. Yeah.
My moment for Chim is the talk that he has with Buck in the kitchen and kind of just like laughing at Buck because like he has a different perspective. He's actually a father and he's a father to a toddler. And he's just like, that's like the fun of, you know, like raising a kid. You never know how they're going to turn out. And like, you know, like Sil said, he's roasting him, but it's out of love to be like, you're not a demon spawn, you know, whatever is, they love that kid. And like you gave them that. So, you know, just giving him a pep speech.
And then for me, I mean, again, this is something we've seen all season, or like it has been kind of developing all season, with just like how good of a captain Chimney was being, specifically at the bridge call and specifically with Buck, and making sure like I think this also like works for the electrical tower as well, where Chimney was like, you know, kind of standing his ground as captain, like you cannot do that, you cannot be here, like let everybody else on the bridge, let everyone else like do their thing, because it's like him being a good captain, but it's also like him looking out for Buck because they're family. But I think we'll talk about this a little, or we'll talk about this in some other ways, but to parallel this with Chimney of 217 when he was interim captain, and just like see how much more confident in himself and how much he's grown as in his authority, when he basically had to do the same thing that he does on the bridge with Eddie in 217 and Shannon. So growth.
So for Buck, my highlight is something that we have ragged on him for several times on this podcast, which is just that he doesn't like to self-reflect very often. He likes to go, we don't have time to unpack all that, and then just doesn't unpack it. So I really like that his talk with Eddie, where we find out that Buck is the one who ghosted Connor and Kameron and not the other way around. That it shows that even season 6 Buck like had this self-reflection and self-awareness and growth back in that season to like know that he couldn't be involved in Theo's life like in a not parent capacity and not get too invested. Like he knew that from just like delivering Theo and holding him for like a minute, he was like, that's gonna get messy. And the way that he makes Eddie understand this is like, remember the beagle from season 8, episode 9, and that's so funny. But yeah, I just really like the self-awareness and reflection that it shows, and that he was protecting himself, because that's kind of one of the reasons I didn't like that storyline, because like he went to Hen and like had this whole conversation, and she was like, can you be a parent without being or be a father without being a parent? I think that was the wording. And I was like, no. And you know
now we
what?
have the answer to
and
that
now we
question.
know that he also came to that conclusion too, and that is, as Sil just said, growth. Rachel just said
we
growth.
all say growth.
We all say growth.
Yeah.
I think honestly that was like one of the smartest ways they could have done that, by like kind of going back into that question that had been posed and was never really answered, and now they've answered it, and that's smart. That's smart to me.
So my highlight for Buck is like how very sweet he is with Theo throughout the entire episode up until Connor and Kameron had, they came over for dinner with Theo and basically kind of told him their reality with raising him. And then like, it's just so interesting because like he switches, not on Theo, obviously, but like he starts blaming himself. He's like, wow, like I just set the devil spawn loose on my friends. But I think, for a few, I think this is going to help Buck, with, reflect on his own upbringing and how he's a product of like neglect, from like Philip and Margaret's parenting. So I really think, it's going to be good. So, that's my highlight.
Yeah. I really loved, all of it, obviously, but in particular, I really loved seeing Buck kind of playing and chasing Theo in the station and keeping up with him, because he's kind of, again, the only one who was able to. And it was just, everybody say it with me now. It was very stuck, right? And
take a shot.
I'm sorry. This episode, I will talk about it later in parallels, but like say it.
No, I was just going to say, at least it's not the word interesting.
Okay.
That's all.
It's the other game. How many times
I feel like
can
I
Rachel
said interesting
stuck?
Too much.
We've all said
it's
interesting.
It's a normal word to say.
I know. It's normal.
But I hope you are all hydrated with H2O. That's all.
Or will be afterwards, because like we can play the stuck game for this one for sure. So I'll talk about it some more later in parallels. But just like to see their interactions was really heartwarming. And I love how Buck speaks to Theo like a person, like person to person. He doesn't talk to him like, I'm a grown up and you're a little kid. He talks to him like an equal, like not quite an adult, but like a full person. It's just like, I think one of the best ways to communicate. But yeah, I really like that. That's how they're starting to develop their rapport between the two of them. And I can't wait to see that growth.
One of my favorite forms of Eddie XOXO Gossip Girl is him getting the tea from Buck at the Playhouse call. Mr. Comedy over here with the delivery of, last time you broke bread with these people, they asked for sperm. And the face he makes fucking had me in stitches. But that whole like him getting the lowdown of like, so like, how did that talk? Like he's like, it's Eddie, so of course surprised. He wants to know, but it's like his stories are on. So he really, really wants to know. Like, fill me in. What's happening? This is drama.
Like the way he turned around when he realized, it was like, oh, you ghosted them?
Yep.
Comedy.
Yep.
He
was like, plot twist. I did not see this coming. Yeah. More intrigued. I don't know. He is so funny. He loves the drama, as long as it doesn't involve him.
It's always better when it doesn't involve you.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So my highlight for Eddie is him being very vocal about community serving systems or organizations, or institutionalized systems and organizations, and how that ties into like his worry about like Theo, like slipping through the cracks because like, you know, he's also like, he's thinking about Theo, he's thinking about the migrants. And also like, he's kind of been shown throughout this entire season that these systems don't work. We've definitely seen it through Abigail, with Abigail, because the crisis intervention stuff and the criminal justice system didn't help with her. The foster care system doesn't help. Well, she was 18, but still it just doesn't help. We've seen it in New Mexico with the cop and not taking Buck seriously, you know, and so many other like examples just throughout the season. I did a whole thread on it. So
it was a good thread.
We'll probably link that in the description. But yeah, like he's been so vocal about this kind of stuff and just like interested to see like if this continues into the next episode.
That's a good one. And your thread was really good. So highly recommend anyone goes and reads that. Because you really like lay it out.
Yeah.
Like very well. And then my highlight for Eddie, that whole sequence on the bridge where Eddie sees Connor and Kameron before Buck, and it's like that long lingering shot from inside the car to like Eddie's expression and dawning realization to him like turning directly towards Buck and just like and knowing he has to like keep him away and basically protect Buck, and he's probably having like deja vu but from an outside perspective. Like I just loved that moment of basically Eddie knowing before Buck and how we got to kind of like sit with his reaction before we saw Buck react. I just thought that was really masterfully done. It was a great shot. It was a great execution of acting and reacting from Ryan Guzman. I love that. I watched that scene, like I rewound it like 4 or 5 times. I was like, wait, let me go back and watch it again.
Yeah, absolutely. Same. Okay, it's time for Queer Eddiemaxxing.
That was dramatic.
That was dramatic.
So dramatic.
I sat there, I was like, this sounds like bad.
I know, it's like ominous. Damn. Okay.
Can someone else do it in like a bit more of a like celebratory? I don't know what's wrong with me.
No, we're keeping it. It was funny. Anyway, oh boy, this man is already baby trapping himself even before he knows that this is Buck's kid. Even before he knows this kid is going to end up with Buck. Like the way he is with Theo on the call, the way he's watching him with Buck, then the way they are at the station, and he's so distracted by their cute antics he can't even fold a damn shirt.
Yeah.
He is distracted.
Stand up, bro.
He was standing.
He should have just gone down the fire escape.
Should have helped Buck help Theo go down the fire escape.
Yeah.
Oh, just like
Yeah.
Yeah. Just for old time's sake. Yeah.
In the play place, just the fact that like Eddie says the word sperm so much. So much. Also in front of the very gay slide because it's very green and blue under the very rainbowy lights.
Also, just the immediate like shot to the both of them was just kind of funny when they were like, "Can you stop saying sperm?"
It did pan over to both of them very quickly.
Yeah,
paired together.
And there was also just like a face while he was, you know, saying the sperm part initially about how like the last time they wanted to break bread with you, they wanted sperm, which just felt very reminiscent of like how like in season 6, I don't know if we've talked about this on the pod because we haven't really gotten to season 6, but I think we all kind of got the vibe that Eddie felt a certain kind of way about it, but didn't really know how he felt. So we don't really know how he felt, but that he felt weird about it. Because he acts a little weird about it. And the face that he makes kind of reminded me of that he might still feel some type of way about it.
It's like, does he feel weird about it for himself, or does he feel weird about it because it's Buck? And that would be kind of interesting to explore.
Yeah. Is it for Buck because he like didn't think that it was something maybe like we thought that maybe it wouldn't have been the best thing for Buck?
Yeah.
Or is it because it's like, you siring another child when I legally gave you mine makes me feel
at
weird.
My death. That's the stipulation.
Yes. Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. So like the look on his face, you know, when he realized he realizes that it's Kameron that was in the accident, and then how he felt like her pulse, and then his attention immediately goes to Buck. Like he immediately knew to just go over there, and physically goes over there to like protect him from seeing and be there for him.
Yeah, and like even during the slow-mo, like when that music is playing and like Buck has already kind of like taken Theo, like there's the shot of Eddie and Hen, and Eddie's just like
Eddie's the one who turns towards Buck's direction and is still like looking
continually, like checking in. Yeah. And then we have Eddie dissociating and kind of like we were just explaining, deeply upset after the Connor and Kameron accident, and he's sitting in the ambulance. And oh, do we think Josh said it best when Josh said to Buck, "Are his concerns your concerns?" And just to sit with that, because it definitely felt like Eddie was concerned for Buck.
And then, Hen just absolutely clocking him being deeply concerned about Buck and Theo, because that's what she be doing. She was doing this also in several episodes this season. She is #noticing.
Yeah, so like we expected a lot with Hen and Eddie like being paired up, but she's very much being built up as being as like his confidant, maybe even his gay Yoda, but like and all, because like he's talking about things that concern Buck like through his POV, like what I mean, like.
Yeah.
And it really started in 817 when he's like talking about Buck's level. He's talking to her and Karen about Buck's level of worry. And then we see it again in 915 when he's like, oh, I should have noticed the signs. Like, he was like beating himself up for not noticing Buck's like that there was something more wrong with Buck, and he kind of he was convinced that at the end he was convinced that like maybe he's fine. And so she related her experience with Eva to that. So like she did a very interesting comparison, and she's been giving him looks and stuff. So it's just very interesting. And now here we are in 917, like asking how he's doing while he's dissociating in the ambulance, because clearly like he's just sitting there. I think he was supposed to do like inventory or something. And he's just sitting there and he's just like staring off into the distance. And yeah, he had a clipboard, not doing it.
Also a reminder of Buck.
Yeah. So there's just
Buck's emotional support clipboard. No, he's borrowing Buck's emotional support clipboard.
Also, just very briefly talking about how, Hen has kind of clocked Eddie. Like he's been kind of been perceived by both Hen and Ravi, because I think someone on Twitter, Bella from Twitter, kind of put the moment from 907 where Ravi kind of clocked Eddie, and from this episode, and Eddie just kind of like gives the same, or gives like a similar look, and it's just like, I've been perceived. So it's just kind of interesting how similar those were. Obviously very different scenarios, but just kind of interesting.
I think it's less Ravi clocking and similar Eddie face.
Yeah, that's kind of what I meant. It like a similar Eddie face of like, oh, I've been perceived. I think that was the similarity there, not like the circumstance.
Okay, so it's time for our Buddiemaxxing section, starting out with some breaking Buddy news. Have you ever donated your sperm and then met the kid 4 years later and then watched his parents, who are your friends, die, and then go with the kid to the hospital and then call your 8-year situationship afterwards to update him on everything because you're basically life partners? So like, what else would you do? And then obviously, instead of your mutual friend checking in with you, she just asks your partner while they're at work together, but you're not even partners with him anymore? LOL, no, Buck neither. None of that happened to him.
So we have Buck and Eddie partnered up on a call in a play place during this whole baby acquisition storyline. It's just so interesting because we keep seeing them paired up when it comes to children. More on that later.
That is so true, actually.
Short means nothing.
I haven't used that in a while. And then, of course, to borrow, I think, one of Han's phrases, the Husbro debrief on the Connor
it's
and
not my word. Someone made a fic with the title Husbro.
I relate it to you. But I do remember that fic.
Is it the Southern Comforts or something?
Yeah.
California?
Southern Coastal.
Southern Coastal.
Hold on. Someone just was recommending this in the server like today. I've read it. It's really cute.
I think I've read.
Maybe it's another one.
It's the.
Is it a long one?
Courtship Behaviors of the Southern Coastal Husbro by Mad_Lori. It's almost 50,000 words and it's from September 2022. Yeah, this is the like platonic life bros where they're like, I want to be a family together, but platonically. And then they,
not
realize
platonically
that it's not so platonic.
Anyways, so not a Hanism, but the Husbro debrief on the Connor and Kameron situation, and just the
one that I've been saying is Brusbands.
Oh, that's what it is.
That's what you're thinking of.
I'm so sorry.
First time I think I've ever heard you say that one.
No, I've said it a couple times recently.
Brusbands. Yeah. Okay. So I conflated those. My apologies. Yeah. Just like it's very like, oh my God, give me the tea, give me the dirt, and just like him being so concerned kind of on Buck's behalf. Very, again, partner coded.
This may go into parallels. I don't know. Here's a transition into parallels. Who knows what this is? So like Eddie, who is still #weird about how, or jealous, or how Buck bonded over with, the beagle. Because yes, he still felt a certain type of way. Anyway, I just think it's very interesting that we did a very, very explicit callback to the beagle, where Buck made a point, when they were in their little mini divorce, Buck made a point to say, I don't need you either, to Eddie, and Eddie's face there. Like that was a lot. That was just a lot. Yeah. Interesting. So interesting.
So interesting. It is really interesting how we got such. Yeah, I said it. How
you just said it 3 times.
I don't care. Get us a thesaurus, whatever.
Hope the YouTube user is happy for giving us a complex about interesting.
Yeah.
I hope you're hydrated.
It's so enlightening
how explicitly they included some of these callbacks and parallels in the actual like text of the episode, which they don't always do, but they made a point to a couple times in this episode. And I just think that's really cool. I do think it's cool. I think it's smart. Oh God. So continuing with our parallels and symbolism, just think of the title, the I Got You Babe. Now I know we got a mention of it for karaoke, but that was like a very literal, like, oh, they're singing the song, or they're mentioning about singing the song. But the metaphorical I got you babe in this episode, I mean, also besides like Buck and Theo, but walk with me here, it can also apply to Buck handing Theo to Eddie after the electrical tower and saying, Eddie's gotcha, because it's like that Buck is that first point of contact for Theo, but Eddie is the second. And it's just, the symbolic like handing over of Theo to Eddie. Oh, maybe kind of like Eddie handing Christopher over to Buck in a similar way, but more metaphorical. Like, I don't trust anybody more with my son than you.
Yeah, it's kind of like he's got his back. You're not going to get anything else from me. Moving on. Oh. All right. So our next parallel is the 217. The parallels to 217 with Shannon dying. It's a literally perfect match reversal. Just this time with Eddie being the one seeing Connor and Kameron and Theo, in the accident and seeing and being witness to their fate, and then trying to shield Buck and hold him back, while Buck barreling forward in shock. The show proves again that they know what they're doing. They know how to pull back from past seasons. Like, it's a very obvious. I mean, mind you, it's an obvious parallel, and it would have been at the surface if they never did it. So, like, I'm glad that it's there. And then we have Eddie talking out loud about how it made him think about Shannon stuff and what he was thinking about, like, and how to prepare to like talk to Chris about it. So glad that we got a little bit of insight of what he was thinking, because of how.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yes, it was a pretty like obvious parallel to make like visually, but like we talk about parallels literally all the time. And so infrequently do they kind of like have that visual parallel and then come back to address it in the dialogue and in the text later on in the episode. And I just thought that was like so important for like really underscoring how they're connecting these two events for everyone involved, for Buck and for Eddie, especially in Eddie's mind and how he's like equating them, right? And I think it's especially really pertinent to do for the GA because, again, we pick up on the visual parallels of something that happened literally 7 seasons ago, but not everybody is, talking about this show at length for literally almost 24/7, like minus the few hours of sleep that we get. So you can have the visual parallels and the girls that get it. If you know, but to talk about it explicitly and what it means for the character and his memory and his thought process, I think is very telling of some of the intention that they have going forward.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And also there's like this really great Sign of the Times edit that someone pulled up really quick from I'm Gonna Get You, Buck. And someone else, I think it's Lena Blue Gray Tan, kind of did a dual sync up with, I think it's a little edited, but like has the 217 on top and 917 on bottom. And it's just kind of like syncing up those two scenes so you can see like how visually similar they are. And it's really cool. So
it's like what we did with the Buck Eddie parallel.
Yeah.
I think you kind of touched upon it a little bit, but I do love the surface level interpretation tying into something much deeper. And like you said, how it's going to set up maybe Eddie and choices and decisions going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then there's the very big visual parallel of Buck taking Theo from Harry and then getting him on the ambulance in the aid car and setting him facing inward and then getting there to like and putting his hands on his face to kind of like shield him from turning around.
Yeah.
And he did this exact same thing on the top of a fire engine in season 3 with Christopher. And it was just like the same face where it's like he's horrified. I think he looks more horrified in this episode because like those are his friends.
Yeah.
Those were people he knew. And it's different when it's like, bodies floating by that you don't know, like, anonymous.
Yeah.
But just very much, protecting both of these kids from being more traumatized than they already are going to be from the event that's happening to them. Because that's just who Buck is, Yeah.
That made me emotional.
Yeah, same.
At that point, I was like, I've seen this film before.
I did like the ending of that one, though. So,
yeah, that's true. Another film we've seen before, in a manner of speaking, The Return of the White Striped Shirt of Doom, which we saw earlier this season, too. So, Buck getting splashed by Theo's chocolate milk when they're having dinner with Connor and Kameron. Hilarious and unhinged. I saw that and I flinched and I was like, oh, they did that.
So did Buck.
So obviously a parallel to 413 of Buck getting splashed, but that time with Eddie's blood after Eddie got shot. And so this marks the 3rd time. So like once happens, twice is a coincidence, 3 times is a pattern, right? So this is the 3rd time, potentially, where the white striped shirt of Buck's foreshadows an Eddie NDE. So we have 413 with Eddie getting shot. We have 913, which I am counting because of that car accident that they should not have survived. And maybe 918, depending on the promo, which, alludes to something of that nature. So if we had a nickel for every time, we'd have 3 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it is weird that it's happened almost 3 times. Just saying.
So interesting.
No, that one required it. That was necessary.
All right. So I know I talked about the baby grenade a little earlier in this episode, but hey, it's your fault, Han. Are you calling this baby a grenade?
I know it's my fault. It's just that you said it right when she took a sip of her drink and she choked.
Oh, I can't see her. I can't see her.
I saved it. I saved myself.
Another parallel, or maybe more like confirmed foreshadowing, was the cryptic pregnancy. Because like it really foreshadowed like Buck and Eddie's like potential storyline for like maybe fostering or taking in Theo, because I would hope that this is what we're doing. It's kind of like, hey, Martin stepping into it with Cecilia after like she delivers the baby, which equates to Eddie like stepping into it with Buck, which mirrors Buck helping Eddie with Christopher where he can. So like that cryptic pregnancy call was just so loud but subtle with subtleness. You know what I mean? Crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy
like I
work.
have to go back and listen to what we said, but we were like, this is something, right? This is something, we don't know what.
I mean,
but it's something.
I basically said, hey, this is like their first call together. And then something.
That's how we got Grenade, baby.
And then equating it back to like also Stuck, I think is kind of like the main points.
Yeah.
Their first call and then the Christopher at the firehouse.
There's also off screen, but we find out that Chimney called Maddie to be there for Buck, which I'm paralleling Buck calling Eddie right after that to update him. And it's just like, partners keeping each other updated.
Yeah, I love that. What was your other thing?
Chimney calling Maddie to be there for Buck, just like Buck or Chim called Bobby to be there for
Eddie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I put that somewhere. Maybe I didn't.
I think there's a weird case of just blacking out during these notes for some reason.
It's okay. These notes are a black hole. It's fine.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's fine.
So similarly to 907 and in 917 we have Eddie, hand called it the Hasbro debrief, but honestly this is also like parallel to like how Eddie was so here for Buck's stories about his night out with Jade and Zane. So here we have El Chismoso, Eddie-Diaz, and his favorite telenovela, once again, Las Pruebas y Tribulaciones de Evan Buckley. And for people who don't know what I just said, it was the trials and tribulations of Evan Buckley.
Ooh, now you need some like music to go with it, like the intro card. I don't know.
Well,
I'm
that is
having a vision.
Anyway,
yeah.
There's your note for
Eye of the Tiger.
No, I love that. Okay, now a mini section of our parallels for all of the Stuck parallels. My favorite.
Okay, so everyone knows that Chris is Superman, per Eddie and Chris's morning ritual intro, but also because Buck also calls him Superman. And now Theo is Spider-Man. And I just think that's beautiful.
They're a super family.
Yeah, and also just superheroes with dead parents. The club.
Disney and comic books, man.
Yeah.
Parallel to Stuck is bringing Theo to hang at the station, just like Buck asked for the go ahead to bring Chris to the station. Buck and Eddie are also like, paralleling this to like 910 and 809. Like they're bringing in the strays. So like with Theo, with Buck bringing Theo into the station, Eddie brought in Abigail. And it's just interesting because like I think these storylines like address their potential parenting or their potential parenting and reflecting, which, and the reflection on themselves.
It is really interesting because it's a pattern that we see, and it's been a couple times this season. Bear with me. I was like writing this out last night, and then I was like, came to an epiphany as I was writing. So I was thinking about how specifically with Stuck parallels, how there might be something there about Buck not overstepping into a pseudo parent role with either Chris at the time or with Theo, but he did help Eddie get childcare by helping him get in touch with Carla. But there's also, you know, an element of how Eddie wasn't looking to ask for help, but appreciated it. And that was in Stuck. That was like that first, you did that for me sort of thing, right? And contrast this with how Connor and Kameron were actively searching out Buck's insight, but Buck didn't want to get involved. So this is kind of here as a way to like compare and contrast how willing Buck was to help Eddie and Christopher and be involved in a supportive role, not like overstepping into a parent role, but like be involved, be supportive, and how much Buck was not willing or ready to with Connor and Kameron. I just thought that was like a really interesting like comparison there relating back to Stuff. I don't know if that made sense to anybody else, but I was just like, it was, I think the thesis of that was like the willingness to kind of like step into it with Eddie and not wanting to do that with Connor and Kameron and how much that says.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, good. I was like falling asleep while I was writing this.
Yeah, and all of this just underscores how Buck and Eddie and Chris are a family. And it's framing Theo in such similar ways already, and it's going to potentially bring him into a similar position in the Buckley-Diaz fold or family, if you will.
Yeah, excellent. Now what if?
Okay, what if? What if we were right? Or what if we were clowning? We won't know until next season, because I think that's what most of this is about. But yeah, this is just our buddy forecast section. If we're right, we knew it. If we're wrong, we were clowning. That's how this section works.
He hit it here.
Safe and sane clownery.
Yeah.
Very important.
Having Eddie being involved at a greater capacity in convincing Buck to foster Theo, or just being like more involved. And I think that could come about really naturally in like a conversation where like Buck is kind of doubting himself, or feeling some mixed feelings about it and unsure about it, and says something like, you know, I don't know if I can do this alone. And Eddie's like, who said you'd be doing it alone? And Buck gives him a look and he's like, I've got your back, remember? Like, I just think it could be something very subtle, simple, like that Eddie just kind of encourages him. Maybe setting up something for Eddie to be more involved with Theo, or maybe even more involved in some kind of official way next season. It remains to be seen.
Like, I can see Buck relying heavily on Eddie in terms of like parenting, not because he would be a terrible dad, but because of how he views his own upbringing and how the Buckleys, like their neglect, like affected it. And I think like it would also it would open storylines for Eddie as well. The accidental baby acquisition, I thought, would be a perfect way to open up and touch upon like some of those early years that like Eddie missed for Christopher. And it was really brilliant that they even brought that up. So
yes,
like he definitely, we know he feels a certain type of way, but it would be kind of cool to kind of bring that back and to have both Buck and Eddie like work through their own issues together as parent and potential parent, or as parents.
Yeah, I think, and I mentioned it earlier, but I think that would be such a great, this whole idea of nature and nurture, right? And how Buck and Eddie can really both kind of like heal from this focus of like nature versus nurture sort of thing. And like by way of like parenting and stuff like that. Okay. And then something else, looking forward, especially with the promo for 9/18, Eddie getting shot and or stabbed. Hell yeah. Very excited for potential Eddie NDE. And would we love to have it be Buck and Eddie in the elevator? Yes. Or Buck finding Eddie in the elevator? Also, yes. That might be a little on the clownery side, but...
Do we think it's happening?
No. We don't think it's happening.
Do you know where it's gonna happen 100 times this summer?
On AO3.
AO3.org.
And I will read that same concept
I will.
1,000 times.
Literally. I'll read them all.
Because that's juicy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just like Eddie and DE. Oh yeah, we were so excited.
You were apparently screaming. I don't recall that, but hey.
No, like after when we were talking about, we were like, this is so great. And like the whole timeline was just like,
I haven't watched back our reaction, but like I'm pretty sure we all cheered. And then we rewound and watched it and cheered.
Yeah. It's just like,
it's almost like we've been asking for this constantly on our podcast. Please push this man to the brink of death and then bring him back. So it's all we want.
But also if he's, in his NDE, he has to be awake. That's the caveat.
Gotta be awake.
Yeah. He's got to be delirious and saying shit.
He's got to be having some moments, some real, you know what I mean? Kind of like a la Eddie Begins, and he's like, like I'm always going to fight to come to my family and like my found family and my little edit in my head in which it's mostly Chris and Buck,
Yeah. Anything of that nature. We'll eat it up. If it doesn't happen, if Buck's not in the elevator too, that's okay. Because he will be in fan fiction. So we still win.
And I think I should say this here. I think we'll say it in the next episode too. But I think out of the finale specifically, we're not expecting big, huge movement. But we are expecting so much to happen next season based on this brand new plot device that has been donated
by Evan Buckley.
Yes.
Oh God. Thank you for your donation. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your for the 5,000 years of discourse that we had that apparently
oh my God. What did I say? Hold on. I was trying to talk to people on Discord and I said I think we're still very up. It's just set up for next season. Planting a seed. No. Sorry for lack of better metaphor, and watching it grow slowly in season 10.
Wow.
And possibly onwards. But I was like, it literally is planting a seed and watching it grow. That's what this plot line with Theo is. Like obviously it's there for Buck, but it's also there for Buddy. Let's be real. It's we're going to talk about this way more, I'm sure, in the next episode. But it's such a great vehicle for Buddy, for the general audience to get on board. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I should be rooting. Like if I was GA, I should be interested in how this is going. Be interested in their dynamic. It's kind of like, how a lot of us who watch the show from the beginning like glommed onto the co-parenting stuff and like their dynamic. So it's like yes, it's like a reheating. It's a reusing of the nachos. But for the GA, the new audience that was brought in because of our move to ABC, right? So if I was a general audience member, I mean, I want to be interested in their dynamic and then like feel that undercurrent like vibe that they have going on. And then, they have moments with this child and like they're talking about parenting. And it's kind of like maybe something tragic happens where Theo's no longer in the picture. And now I have to root for them to get him back. And then for them to be a family together. Wow, this was... Hey, I'm in the clownery section, so I don't know if this is...
barred.
I don't know if this is clownery or not. I don't know.
I don't think it's clownery. I just think it's like, what is, an idea or a sample of what is on the table for the future of how this storyline is going to go.
Yeah.
Like there's so many different ways it can go, but like the destination is kind of clear.
It's all about the journey, right?
Yeah.
Maybe the Bubby. Wow. Maybe the Buddy canon are the donor kids that we accidentally adopted along the way,
Wow.
Maybe Buddy Cannon is the donor baby of your best friend who you baby trapped yourself with along the way,
That works both ways for both of them.
Yep.
Sure does.
Oh boy.
Also, just real quick, what did you say in 907? What did Buck say? Like, go seed the ground? Is that what Buck says?
He was like, I'm going to go seed the ground for you. And then Eddie's like, please, Buck, no seeding.
Yep. Sorry, when you guys were saying that earlier, I didn't want to interrupt because you were on a roll.
And I
but
always
it's just
thought
like
that word choice
it was so weird.
It was so
But
weird.
you know what?
7 on rewatch, it's gonna hit so hard. Make sure you do your due diligence and rewatch it because, like, wow, this is a great transition into the Looking Glass for my thing. Because, okay, so like kind of sort of transitioning into the Looking Glass, because of the other parallels. So you have that line with the seeding, like don't seed Buck or whatever. And yet Eddie ended up with the child potentially. But like my other thing was that like Connor and Kameron were the original throuple. Like they're a mirror to Jade and Zane. Who only wanted,
I'm so glad you wrote this.
I know. Who only wanted Buck, or Buck's body for what it could do for them. So, hey, I don't.
No, that is so interesting that because I had that thought as well, and I'm so glad you wrote it down. Yeah, that is quite a parallel.
He really did see the ground.
He did see the ground. I can't, bro. This is gonna be like a much more fun version of when we went back through season 8 to like find all of the Bobby Bones foreshadowing. Yeah. Find all of the seed foreshadowing.
All the seeds that they planted.
Yep. All the Easter eggs that Tim said that he planted.
All of these birth metaphors really like coming to fruition.
And here I thought I was just crazy with the baby grenade. No, like I was not.
You're not crazy.
Theo being the actual baby grenade for fandom anyway.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so this is a great time. Speaking of Connor and Kameron, we're going to take this opportunity to talk about it more in our Best Buddies section. So shout out to our Best Buddies on Patreon. Thank you so much. Aaron, Alexandria, Alma, Amanda, Amber, Amy, Anna, a different Anna, Anthony, Asha, Aubrey T, Aubrey G, Britt, Casey, Christian, Dana, Elizabeth, Ella, Ellie, Eloise, Emmy, Erica, Eveline,
Gabby, Gracie, Jane, Inika, Irv, Jen, Joey. Please tell us your name again. John Goes Purple Hair, Juan, Jules, Jewel, June, Kate, Jay, Kel, Kenny, Carrie Elizabeth, Quincy, Leah, Leo, Leslie, Marianto, Max,
Maya, Millie, Mishi, Nat, Patricia, Pigeon, Poppy, Proxima, Nightmare. If you have another name, let us know. Rachel, Rebel. Hey, it's cool though.
It is cool.
Rachel, Rebel, Sephi, Sheila, Sherry, Stacy, Sunchi, Thastus, Tina, TJ, Tristy, Vera, Wade, and Zachary.
So we're about to start a mini segment about how Connor and Kameron have always been weird with Buck.
And it's exclusive to the Best Buddies tier of Patreon.
So if you'd like to vote on and hear special mini segments each episode
and get a personalized shout out, subscribe to our Patreon.
All right. So I guess kind of want to do an unrepression checklist update now, which honestly I should probably just save for next week, but because we don't have the full fruition of this, what I think is supposed to happen in the storyline. But I mean, just to kind of run down the checklist of what I've had, just to refresh everyone's memory. So Eddie's unrepression checklist was religious trauma, which we touched on 905, sexuality, which we kind of did in 907, childhood trauma, which I think I think I put in 910, a little bit of his military background in 908, and, sprinkles of joy, which we see a little bit of his dancing in 909, and then Christopher or parenting, which I think it's sprinkled in. I mean, like there was something with like 912 with dads and cats, where like Chris did his little like, oh yeah, divorce is hard on the kids.
Yeah.
I think the last time I touched upon this like checklist was in our 10 through 11 special, and I haven't touched it since. But
it's been a lot going on.
But there's so much going on, and I think we're still like hitting these like little bullets.
Well, or maybe they're hitting him. Hey, sorry.
I think you should show yourself out.
I will.
I think you need to go put yourself in a corner immediately.
Bye.
I love that I think I already said this already, but I love that we're doing the Theo thing because again, Eddie can work through those first 4 years, or we can revisit or tell more stories about those first 4 years that he missed with Christopher, and just get it all out there. You know what I mean? Like stop repressing. Like it's just, there's more stories to tell, I think. And this is a great avenue for it. So
agreed. So what we know about what's coming next, well, there's only one episode left. So there's that. It's season 9, episode 18, titled Hearts and Flowers, and it's airing the day this episode comes out, May 7th, 2026. Written by Molly Green and James Leffler. And directed by Bradley Beaker. The synopsis: following Athena's shooting, the 118 gathers at the hospital awaiting news. Meanwhile, the mastermind behind the trafficking ring is determined to silence Athena and anyone who gets in his way for good.
Go, girl, give us nothing!
I mean, I think that gives us more than usual, and also we have the promo, and also we have a leak call sheet.
Yeah, it kind of gives us exactly what we expect, though.
Yeah.
I will say the mastermind behind the trafficking ring is determined to silence Athena and anyone who gets in his way for good. I don't know, like, I think we're
The implications.
We're going into buddy system theory corner too. So like, I think that kind of helps. I think there's lots of theories happening right now where like maybe Eddie faces off with whoever is doing the pew pew in the hospital. So that's how he gets shot. So I think that would be interesting because like Athena may be in some kind of surgery, some major surgery. So she's down for the count, and like people have to, maybe the 118 have to kind of stop, or specifically Eddie, because he has that special skill set.
Like it's up to them
to keep whoever is doing the pew pew at the hospital from getting to her, you know? So
like protecting her. Yeah.
Eddie's gonna get to be there to save someone this time.
No, and like, and making it Athena, you know?
And he couldn't save Bobby.
Yeah. Because he's there now. Yeah.
I will love that parallel reversal mirror.
If he gets shot trying to protect Athena,
I'm gonna eat that shit up so good.
Oh, absolutely.
Bobby in heaven, like, that's my boy.
That's my son-in-law.
I was just gonna say, we all agree that the mastermind behind the trafficking ring, determined to silence anyone, is the mobster's son, right?
I think so. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah. Anatoly something like that. Whatever. Yeah. Whether he's the pewer or the shooter remains to be seen. I think it's very likely because in that like one line or like one scene that he had, you know, his father was like, "You're too soft." And he's like, "We'll see about that," basically, is the energy. And obviously Hooks has his hooks in on this now with the Russian mom. So like, because he obviously shot Athena and the guy, the father, I forget his name, Nikolai Astor or something. Yeah. Obviously there was no gun that he said. So it was like, so my question then is like, is Hooks a double agent where he's like an agent for, like, he's just a plain old dirty cop and working for the mob and trying to like cover his tracks by shooting Nikolai so they couldn't like question him or anything like that? Or is he a triple agent where he's like in this weird like undercover thing where he's like gone to the mob but is actually still kind of a good guy and had to like shoot Athena for like the cover of it, but also to protect her in some weird way? I think they could do either of those, because just like one of those things is like the whole raid on the house I thought was very interesting because they used like the security found footage and there was like no like security people, like the Russian security people paying attention. They were all like playing cards or whatever. So it's like, okay, so did they have like forewarning that this raid was coming? Is that why there was no one looking out? But again, is it because Hooks is like an actual dirty cop or like double triple agent?
See, if he's a double
like layers,
if he's like a double triple agent, he's going to be part of his cover is like being, you know, rubbing elbows with the son, right? So, but then the triple agent part is kind of like what I said earlier, which was the, hey, like, I don't know, like the idea of the red herrings, like I mentioned earlier. Yeah, exactly. So like it was very prominent. It was very in your face this season. We had so many fake outs.
And he's been so blatantly like a shady character.
He feels so like a shady, but
he shot Athena. That's where I'm getting lost in that. I'm like, I don't think any double agent's like, I had to shoot you to protect my cover. I don't.
Or to like protect her in some way. And I don't know. I'm just saying like there's a part of my brain that could like spin it that way.
I think we got me to start thinking about it is how he was talking to her. And I know, like, again, we saw this with the Abigail stuff where like they're using the dialogue and the way that they are portraying this scene. Like he sounds genuine, but we have seen him already be like really weird. Like I don't know. Like I think he's set up to be a fake out too, or it's in our face. I don't know, man. It would be.
I see what you're saying, and I understand being weary. I just don't think it is this time because I can't get past
shooting Athena.
Him shooting Athena,
which that is completely fair.
Know,
I'm just
girl
like,
is in the promo with the open heart surgery paddles.
I just think it's also odd that. I don't know. There's something. It's the call sheet that's also coming to mind because she is Detective Athena Grant. Like, so, okay, like what? His position is open and she just takes it. Well, I feel like he like, okay, so say he's a triple agent. He could recommend her because I'm thinking about episode 4 too, because like, you know, Athena had her mentor.
Next time do it
Athena had her mentor. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. There's something that's just connecting there. And I feel like if this is a triple agent situation, he could also recommend her for detective. Like maybe like, okay, wait, recommend her for detective. And because like he made a point to say, I think in 15, was it? That you should have like a detective badge so you don't have to like... There was something about like maneuvering through like the case and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like he could.
Yeah. And alternatively, if he's just a regular old double agent, he could get caught and his position will be open. And Captain Maynard could very easily be like, well, I want to make sure there's a good person in that spot now who's not corrupt. And that's Athena. So
I think if she's moving, it's her own choice because I just like, it's a lateral move. I don't think she needs
convincing
a recommendation or convincing.
Well, a recommendation just go like, it's not you know, it's not convincing her. It's like,
well, no, I'm saying I don't think she needs a recommendation because like she's like highly lauded and celebrated and a hero. And we just heard all of that from the guy who's like, find out who murdered me in the episode where we meet this schmuck books. So I don't know. I mean, like, I understand where you guys are coming from. And if it's a double trip, I'll be like, okay.
Yeah, I'm just like
I just
keeping enough room for like possibilities because
I'm just going to let them tell me what's happening.
That's fine.
I'm just going to let them tell me that.
That's how I felt about 15. I'm like just tell me what's happening. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then the whole like Eddie and DE situation and how it looks like he's going into an elevator. And I know we touched on this earlier. We would love if Buck were in the elevator. Probably not happening.
I think he's alone in that elevator, guys.
Alone or with someone else? Oh,
alone. I think he's alone in there for a while. Probably,
he could be alone.
Someone finds him.
The way I do it, if he's alone in the elevator, then I want Buck to be outside the elevator doors.
Yeah, like kind of what I'm thinking, like what I'm picturing is like he gets into an altercation trying to protect Athena and then gets away from Anatoly because we're assuming it's Anatoly. He drags himself into the elevator and then he pulls like the emergency stop button.
Yeah.
And then Buck figures out that the elevator isn't working and then, you know, uses his Buck skills to find him. But like, I don't think anyone's going to be stuck in the elevator with him. I think it's kind of like, I'm here to protect myself because I can't really get anywhere further without this guy actively hunting me down.
Yeah.
And I'm losing like mobility and like, that's kind of what I'm thinking is going to happen.
I think it's like, it would also be like a direct mirror to like how Buck wasn't heavily involved in 9/11 with like Eddie going through his altercation with Abigail's dad. And so he shows up at the end at the hospital through some elevator doors. So like, it could be like, it could just be a direct mirror to that.
Yeah.
If he's with someone, my money's on him more than it would be with Buck.
If Buck's even there.
Well, I think we see him holding Harry back from...
Sure, but does he leave after that? Before the hospital's on lockdown?
Right, he may not. And so he may be helping out from the outside.
He could not. I said my worst night. Well, I've said Buck's worst nightmare is another thing happening like this, and he's outside.
Yeah.
Well, it would be a mirror to 908 where he's outside. You know, when Eddie's there with the veteran who also has a gun.
Active shooter.
Yeah, 908, 8, 14, 15.
Yeah.
The well, not being able to get in the well.
Yeah.
Ooh. I'm going with the worst options, right? And that's what I'm convincing myself is happening, so that if anything else happens, I'm like, this is great.
To be honest,
I'm like, Eddie's alone in the elevator. Buck isn't even in the hospital.
It's not the and honestly, I will say, like, it's not the worst options. It's just not the ideal for our agenda.
Yeah.
But
it's not bad. It's just
because I trust that they can make it work. But it's just not the most ideal.
Yeah, it's Molly and James.
Yeah. Oh, and it's Molly and James, of course.
Yeah. I mean, I would love for all of them to be in the hospital and it all to be a thing, but I feel like they got to have someone on the outside that isn't just Maddie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because everyone was in that shot. Like Robbie's there, Harry's there, Buck, Eddie.
You were there, and you were there.
And Chimney, like everyone's there, and Athena's there. So the only people who aren't there are in that shot in the promo are Maddie and May.
Yeah.
Now, would I love for all of the 118? Yes. Now, would I love for all of the 118 to be in the hospital and then like May goes to dispatch and helps, you know, with Maddie?
That'd be fun.
That'd be great.
Ooh, I like that idea actually a lot.
I just have like a May back at dispatch agenda for some reason.
I have a feeling, or maybe a want that will end up there eventually. in her journey.
Maybe I mean, I don't think it's going to be May Day in the way that it's going to be a huge storyline for her, but like maybe it could be kind of like a May Day-esque event where like she has like where Eddie has like a realization that like he's really meant to be a firefighter. Maybe she's like, I'm supposed to be
here.
I think I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah.
You know, like this is where she's like, I know what I want my job to make me feel like. And like, she did feel that way when she was at dispatch. So I'm like, girl, just go back to dispatch.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I feel like she has to do a little bit like exploring, soul searching, like a little soul searching, kind of in the way that maybe Buck did, right? That would be kind of an interesting parallel to draw there. So
I think it's like a Chimney parallel more than a Buck parallel.
That too.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Chimney or Hen.
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah.
Definitely Hen. Yeah.
But yeah, okay. Other theories for this episode.
I mean, I think there's, again, anything that we probably said in the Buddy clownery, which is like Eddie encouraging Buck to take care of Theo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, where are we leaning? Do we think it's going to be just like a temporary placement foster situation? Do we think it's Will? Do we think it's...
With how weird Connor and Kameron are, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a Will, because then they could also... That's a great way to bring up, you know, the other Will that will not be named. Will. If not, like, explicitly, then, like, implied, you know?
No, I here's the thing. I think I want permanent. I can see temporary, and I can see like how temporary works, because I think it would be so devastating if they did take him away, and how it would work for Buck and Eddie, and how like it could be like, wow, I actually wanted to raise a child with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't. Okay, maybe I should have been more specific. I don't think Theo's going to go away. That would be devastating. That would be terrible. I meant like for this finale, do we think he's getting temporary like foster placement of him, or that
at the end?
At the end of this finale, yeah. Is it because we know the welcome home Theo, like spoiler, right? So do we think it's, oh, well, Theo's just his because it's in the will and there's no living relatives or people? Or do we think it's okay, he gets his foster's license and then he's getting temporarily placed with him on like...
Honestly, the welcome home, Theo, you're right. Like, I mean, it's very specific to say, like, I don't know if like what that means on the call sheet exactly, but like to say like welcome home, it does feel like, that this was the last resort kind of thing, because they couldn't find someone else that's next of kin.
Okay. So this is kind of what I'm thinking. I'm kind of thinking Buck will be highlighted as next of kin. That's the only person that they could find. I don't think there's necessarily like getting into a will at this point in time. I think that would be too soon. What I could very easily see as a couple storylines and plot points going forward is Buck is next of kin. So they place Theo with Buck for the finale for ostensibly.
Okay, wait. No, because like
they're not known as sperm donors aren't next to kin.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That was exactly what I was going to say. He's not next to kin legally because he already waived his rights just by going to a facility. That was part of the research I did.
He would have to be in the will.
So they would have to
get outright custody without like temporary fostering leading to an adoption path.
Okay. Well, what I was kind of going to say, which like that's fine, but I could see whatever way it works out, I guess, is I could see them placing Theo with Buck as a maybe longer term, semi-permanent basis, sort of thing where it's like permanent for the indefinite future, right? Because they couldn't find another next of kin. So I could absolutely see in like season 10 or something going forward, after like extensive searching for some reason, someone pops up that's next of kin, maybe like Connor or Cameron's parents or grandparents or something were like in another country and nobody could get a hold of them. And then all of a sudden they're like, show up. I don't know. It's 911. You can make something up. But like, and have that then be a conflict for their storyline in the future. So that's kind of like what I could see. And that wouldn't really work out if it's like the will or if they find the will and Buck is in the will, then they find like other next of kin and they contest it, kind of like what we originally thought was kind of going to happen with Eddie's parents and Christopher and like Buck being in the will and all that stuff. That would be an interesting way to kind of like see that through in another way, shape, and form. So that's my thoughts on that.
So what are your thoughts for the finale? Because that's what I specifically was asking about.
I said they'll put him with Buck.
But I was asking if you thought it was going to be the will or that it's a fostering situation.
Well, I said not will, and then you guys said
it has to be will. I mean, if we're going by California law and logic,
it's not next of kin.
It's not. He's not next of kin.
That was going to be my answer.
So fostering,
sure.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or he's going to end up being, because Eddie made a point to say that they're putting him with an emergency foster family or placement. But this is a great avenue where, okay, now you have to bring in the will. So that way you can contest and say, well, now technically because of the will, I have the right to do this and be that emergency foster placement for Theo. So
I'd have to do more research, but from my understanding of how fostering works from the show The Fosters, there's
right, they have to get their license.
Well, okay, but there's different kinds of fostering. Like you can say, I only want to be very temporary foster housing for people, which is what like an emergency placement would be, which is like, this is a very temporary situation until we find you your next of kin or the more permanent situation.
Okay. So Buck would be the more permanent situation.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is,
so I don't think he's going to be fighting the people that have Theo right now.
No, absolutely not.
Sorry, I did not mean to open up this can of worms. I just was getting into like, what do you think is going to happen? Or what do you prefer, foster versus will route? Because those are the two routes. Like, it's not going to be outright adoption. He has to, I think, get a foster license and foster him before he can like put forward adoption, unless the will thing is that I
wonder if like they have to do like a time jump. Would they do a time jump in the finale so that he can work out like the fostering like license and stuff?
I mean, we're already going to have a little bit of a time jump just to see like Eddie and Athena conscious. So,
yeah.
So I assume there'll be like a week time jump somewhere towards the end of the episode. So that's probably what that is. Also, why I'm thinking Buck might not end up in the hospitals because he has to go meet with Deidre or like,
the thing,
you know what I mean? Like deal with this.
But the thing is, it's, I don't know because I don't know what time the pew pew is going to start happening, or is that at night? Did we I don't know if we got
I have
that.
no idea what's happening.
No idea.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a hospital. Time
I think I'll just
there.
say this isn't really a theory. This is just a preference. I'll understand if they do the will. It's easy.
Yeah.
It's clean. There's a lot less like legal issues. The hurdle will just be emotional on Buck's part. I kind of would really prefer if it's not the will and
he chooses
keeping Theo as his choice completely. Not that I don't think it's still him choosing, because it's like he can refuse, as we know.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't.
He wouldn't. And they knew that too, probably, because they just have assumed their way into this man's life, even in death, possibly, if this is what's happening. But I would really prefer it to be Buck's choice and Buck pursuing it. And I think it's a more interesting storyline that way. But I will understand if they go the will route. And then there is the bonus of if a will gets brought up, something.
Yeah, I could also see like the will getting found later on in the future, and then like he's already like fostering him, and then it's like, oh, you're going to anyways, but it's the family that he chose.
It's so interesting. Okay, wait. I think I'm sorry, I'm gonna bring this up again, but like something I'm recalling from 9/11 with Abigail, with the Abigail storyline, but it's the conversation between Alex and Eddie, where Alex is doing her thing where she's being stupid, but she said, "Oh, I think Abigail thought that I was gonna place her with you."
Mm-hmm.
And like no mention of like having a foster license or like, but technically she's 18. So I don't know. It was just something was niggling my,
there's something
my
some
brain.
sort of foreshadowing for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because Eddie is who she imprinted on.
Mm-hmm.
Buck is who Theo imprinted on.
Yeah, there's just something about that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I was trying to,
I can follow.
I was trying to see if like there's like some weird way for it's not the will, you know what I mean? But I don't think I could find it either way because Abigail was 18.
Close enough.
I will say, I don't think that this is, I don't think this is happening, but because I've been so gung-ho on it all season, I think I'd be remiss to not say it one last time just in case it does happen. I don't think it's happening. Some sort of moment passing over Eddie's face. Not an moment. I would take, like a season 8, episode 8 Buck moment. You know what I mean? Where we're like, that's not an moment, but that's a moment.
I'm still holding out hope for that. Yeah.
So I maybe something like that, with the end of the episode I don't think it's happening during the NDE. He's got bigger shit to worry about, but with like the Theo of it all. Maybe just like at the welcome home party. Something.
Yeah, so basically like take a bow for season 9, Eddie's heart eyes that he's been doing all season at Buck. We need one more for the road before we break into fucking hiatus.
Just give it a little pizzazz.
It would be even better if like we're focusing on Eddie while like Buck is right in front of him.
With Theo and Chris, maybe?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, we do know that all the kids are going to be, I think, all the kids are going to be in the next episode anyway. So we have Gian, we've got the Lees showing up also. We got Gavin. They were all wearing blue. I feel like there were
It's a boy.
There were blue balloons somewhere.
Yes, just like us. It's a boy.
Like us. Wait, hold on. One more thing. Because like technically I'm thinking that it's going to be 1 year for Baby Nash. They could do a birthday episode for Baby Nash, or they can do, well, actually, I don't think they would have time because I don't know. So maybe somewhere mid episode. Or
it might be like a combined,
or it's the welcome home, like maybe a little party for Theo.
That's what I was thinking of.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
What the fuck was I gonna say? Oh, we're gonna get to see Buck looking at Theo and Chris together, and Eddie looking at Theo and Chris together.
Oh no.
We're not ready for that.
No. And then we'll have to sit with it all summer. Can't wait.
It's going to be great.
Anyway, this was wild.
Yeah, we're
sorry.
We're really excited for this episode. Whatever happens, really.
Yeah, we're down.
So ready for the season to be over. It was a good season.
It's such a good season.
Amazing
it's probably their best season, to be honest.
My favorite. Such an easy rewatch.
Yeah, it's my favorite. I can't wait to rewatch it all, like in a complete package.
It's gonna be so good.
Like a really long movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A proper binge. Yeah.
Anyway, without further ado, here are our wish list items.
This is more for like season 10, but opening emergency but buddy-centric opening emergency for season 10. And wouldn't it be so great if it were something a la Tsunami reversal, where it's like, oh, maybe Eddie and Theo, you know?
Like, yeah, if we're
like that.
Yeah, like, I mean, if we're gonna do Shannon dying parallels and all of that, you might as well give me Eddie and Theo, you know?
Just the logical next step.
Let's play another Ed Sheeran song.
Wait, what's your suggestion from Not Friends? Yeah.
Listen, I could just do Photograph again. You can just hit me with Photograph again.
But I really liked that suggestion from the Buddy songs.
I don't think they're ready for Not Friends yet.
No. Will not hope. So something on my wish list. I know we kind of touched on it early in the episode when we were talking about Maddie, but like we've seen Maddie and Chimney work on balancing their new leadership roles at work between like being friend and a colleague versus a boss. But I'd also love to see how they navigate their newer responsibilities at home and with their young kids, because we really haven't seen that so much, and like how they support each other. Like we know they do support each other always, and it's lovely to see those like little snippets. I just want like an expansion on that a little bit. So like additionally, if Maddie's going to be keeping her distance as the boss at Dispatch, which, you know, she says like, no, I won't go to karaoke. I'm not that kind of, I think I need to keep distance. Like she needs a friend group, because Dispatch is not her found family in the way that like the 118 is. So like give her wine nights with Hen and Karen, and also May and Athena and Eddie. Just saying. She needs more friends. Thank you.
I think I'm going to try to rapid fire these. So anyway, more Athena and Eddie interactions going into season 10. Oh, I feel like a lot of these wish list items are basically going forward into season 10.
We're gearing up.
Yeah. Random. I love the random previously on 911 with Eddie-Diaz in my ear. It was a very welcome jump scare. More of those, please.
That was nice.
It was great. Love that.
Every week. Just use that same clip.
I specifically need Theo to be like a perfect kid with Eddie and a nightmare for Buck. and it works because like Eddie is kind of like the book whisperer, so he can also be the mini book whisperer. So that works.
Oh, that would be perfect.
I love that idea, but I have a counter.
Okay.
A counter, which is love that, want that. You could also give me he's still a terror, but like Eddie is just hard eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's
because it's Buck is perfect to him, and this is just a miniature Buck, and he's just like, he's perfect.
True.
He folds like a house of
And
cards.
meanwhile, his place is just fucking trashed.
Yeah. Very.
Yeah.
Just give us ice cream before dinner, Eddie. Like,
no, that Eddie was wow. That Eddie was really fucking depressed, and the season 8 fic can keep him.
You know what? You're so right.
No, that's fair.
I love our season 9
more
Eddie.
than just
Thank
like
you.
the interaction. Less depresso, more interacting with the kids and being like, whatever you want.
Okay, mine was just this last one is just the wild one, but this is all Oliver's fault anyway because
he keeps manifesting things. So
yeah, or maybe it was Tommy D'Addario's fault actually for bringing it up. But like, hey, Oliver was like, yeah. So there was something about a wedding in season 10 between him and Eddie. I'm quoting him. So yeah, if we can do that. And hey, if you want to make it into a marriage of convenience, like, I don't know, maybe for reasons, maybe Theo shaped reasons, I think a marriage of convenience can be done with again, because I think they did it with Maddie, technically with the taxes, the tax stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, the difference between Maddie is that their feelings for each other have been acknowledged already. With these two, again, it's them doing all the steps of being in a relationship just in reverse. So like they can get married without, it's platonic marriage is basically what I'm saying.
Husbands to lovers.
Yeah.
Love that tag.
Platonic husbands to lovers.
Yep.
Let's do that.
Yeah, it's the fake marriage to dating.
Yep. I co-sign that. I would love any kind of fake relationship, even if they're not married and they're just like, we're gonna live together, which I guess is my wish list. And I think it's a little pipe dreamy because I don't think either one of them have enough bedrooms for this. anyway, even if they wanted to do it. I guess they could hand wave it. But I really think that it would just be nice if, like, you know, you faked us out with buddy roommates for going into season 9. You actually just gave it to us for season 10. That'd be so nice.
Yeah, that's fine.
Know? Hey, we got to live together because it looks better on the adoption papers if we're living together.
Yeah.
Also, it's just easier if we pool our resources and get a bigger house for like all 4 of us.
I think that would be down the line. But yeah. We could save so much money because we need more money because now we have top
2 mouths to feed.
And also, like, it does help, I think, drag the slow burn a little bit if they're fake dating, but not actually, you know, because no feelings are acknowledged or anything. They're just like, I'm helping my husband.
My husband.
My brusband.
My brusband.
Yeah. Where they're the last to know. And everyone else is just like,
are you fucking kidding
Maddie's
me?
gnawing at her enclosure. Like, just like dissociating every time Buck's telling her about like just his regular day. And she's like, oh, yep, totally normal. Just totally normal stuff. Yep. Nope. Not going to say anything. So normal.
And then she gets to hear it from the other side from Eddie during the wine nights and just, you know.
Speaking of, yes, I need all of the Maddie and Eddie scenes in season 10.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like actual Maddie and Eddie scenes.
Just Maddie and Eddie scenes.
It's in a room together alone at this point.
Yep. It's time. We need them in the same scene. Nothing where it's like
one was
spliced
shot
together with movie magic.
Yeah.
No, they need to be facing each other. We need to be able to see the coverage of their shoulder from the other side. Like, put them in a room, please. It's time.
You know what? I don't know. Eddie takes Theo to a G play date.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because Buck is busy for whatever reason.
Buck picks up a shift.
Yeah.
Buck is sick.
Yeah.
Something. I would love an actual bottle episode.
Yes.
An actual bottle episode. And I would love if that was at the station.
Mm-hmm. Show us the bunk room.
Show us the bunk room.
Oh, yeah. Give us that. I was just going to reiterate Ryan Guzman's not official wish list, but I'm putting it in there.
Oh, yeah.
Remember how we were like, Halloween, Zorro costume.
Yes.
Hey, now we have Theo who needs to go trick-or-treating. Like, they can all get dressed up as a little family and they can go trick-or-treating.
Oh my God. Please.
So Theo in a Spider-Man costume. Eddie in his Zorro costume. Buck, I have no idea.
I don't feel like I need to ask anything for the wish list for Buck because I feel like they're going to give me everything that I want next season.
Yeah.
With like through this storyline with Theo, he's going to be working through so much stuff that I've been wanting him to work through for a long time. And he's going to be working through it to be a good parent to Theo, you know, just like Eddie has for Chris. So I think that is going to be beautiful and make me cry so much. But you know what? You know what I do need? I need this man to wake the fuck up.
Hey.
And have his goddamn feelings realization. I'm so tired of his ass.
You know what? I need little Theo to be like, hey, Buck or Mr. Poop, are you and Mr. Eddie dating? Give me that. Because like these little kids, they'll say just the darnest things.
Is he your boyfriend?
Is he your boyfriend?
Oh, absolutely.
I think a more like, why don't Eddie and Chris live here?
Yeah.
Be like,
anything.
Well, why they have their own house? Why wouldn't they live here?
Yeah.
Because you're a family,
something
like that.
Totally.
I could see happening for sure. Yeah, I can't wait for the toddler to just say things. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Kids say the darndest things. It's going to be excellent for us.
Yeah.
Because
wait. I'm sorry I keep doing this to you guys. No, because like, you know how we were talking about Buddy the elf? Well, you know, Blair the elf.
Yes.
Yeah, Blair the
elf, like maybe making a comeback or like somebody doing this whole, wow, you guys have an adorable family, but it's being said to Eddie. I mean, we don't even have to do that. Let the kid do that.
Yeah, I was just about to say, because you have such a little kid and kids say whatever and they're little sponges, so they can repeat things that they hear. This is like a perfect kind of like mouthpiece to talk directly to the characters, like for the GA also, right?
No, wait, sorry. I just started picturing Theo giving Eddie a drawing, and it's a drawing of his family from school, and it's him and Buck and Chris and Eddie is just like, thank you, it's beautiful, and then turns around because he's crying.
Yes.
That's cute.
No, or like
French.
Theo saying, like, again, one of the wild things, but like Eddie is taking it like not as bad, or it doesn't even phase him at all, but Buck is spiraling. He's gonna go down a whole like freak out. He's like, okay, because like just like how Tommy was like, you're living in your friend's house. He's not, I don't think he's straight, basically, with the scoff, you know what I mean? Like, this little kid could open that little Pandora's box, right? And he's like, okay, me and Eddie need to stop spending time together because it's giving Theo the wrong idea or something like that.
Meanwhile, a drawing makes Eddie have his feelings realization. I was like, if anything could make him have a feelings realization, it's a child's drawing of how they're family.
It tracks too, because of like I don't know, just just like I'm thinking about like the drawing of like, I know this is very morbid, but the drawing of Shannon drowning, and then he's like, oh, this is what's wrong.
Yes, that just like the history that we have with like little kid drawings, with like Chris making the card for Buck in season 3, and then you also have Buck drawing the childlike heart in season 6, like, or 5, whichever one that is.
I got Chekhov's baby monitor. It's Chekhov's baby drawing, maybe? I don't know.
They could still have Chekhov's baby monitor with you. I don't even know. Bring that back.
Here
I don't know how they would do it.
for free.
We're just throwing things at the wall at this point. Like, here you go.
This is so fanficky, but I can't put anything past the show anymore. So I think it would be really funny if they did the marriage of convenience and told no one. But Chimney finds out because he's the captain, and it's a change of marital status. So he would be informed.
Yes, yeah.
Cue the bottle episode where he's stuck with everybody
he can't
for the
tell
whole
anyone
time.
that they are married.
That's the bottle episode. Chimney finds out secret, can't tell anyone.
And you're welcome.
Yeah.
That would be so funny.
That would be.
But it's
and
secret
Kenny
relationship,
would,
except
like,
they're not
kill
even
it.
in a relationship, and everyone's like, congratulations, you finally. And Chimney's like,
Ken's ordering the cake already, and it's like, and someone comes in,
you're gay.
They deliver the cake, and it's like, congratulations. It's like
all of this pride stuff, and they're slowly walking.
And
it
Chimney's
back
just
out.
like eating the cake like it's passive. Yeah. Kenny Choi would like comedic chops for this would be
really funny.
Off the charts. I need this to happen. Actually, now.
Can this kid parent trap them? Wait, I'm sorry. I'm going back to my idea.
He's not old enough to parent trap them.
Give it a couple indirectly
seasons.
Not baby trap, parent trap them. No, because like I'm thinking about like the idea of like Buck spiraling and Eddie like taking it a whole lot better, taking it in stride and being like, yeah. And like that would be the indirect parent trap, kind of, in a way, because like then it's like now it's like they're sharing custody of this kid, because like I'm sure Theo wants to spend some time with Eddie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just there's something there.
I also would love a parallel or like a mirror to like he's spending the day with his Buck today with like his Eddie.
Yeah.
Give me that.
Give me that too.
We're just writing fanfic.
And if you're a fanfic writer and you're listening to this section, please just tag us when you write the fic, because these ideas are free.
We just want to read it.
Just let us know.
That's all we ask.
That's all.
I say like I don't troll that tag daily.
Wait, which one?
Just the buddy tag.
Oh, just the buddy tag.
I'm refreshing that daily. Yeah, I don't know. Just like lots of stuff. So
much potential.
Yeah, I think they're just going to give us a lot of stuff when you don't have to ask for it, because this, new introduction to the Buckley-Diaz family dynamic is going to give us a lot of Buckley-Diaz family dynamic, but different. And having to like figure out how that works now, and like
there's a
maybe
lot to
naming
play with.
Some things that they've never named before. And I'm not talking about feelings. I'm just talking about like how they're a family. Yeah. Seeing Chris be like a big brother. I think Chris is going to be chill with it.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be like, you guys are stupid.
It's like, why would he be mad at this kid who lost his parents?
No,
I know,
actually,
you can't
like, he's
be
gonna
mad.
relate. He's gonna relate.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think
He's gonna take him under his wing.
Yeah, because I think I did have that idea of like Chris maybe having a salad bowl crash out a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like, oh, this kid has come in to this dynamic and is taking my dad away from me a little bit. But
Can't do that when it is an orphan.
exactly. So, but again, I didn't account for
Right.
for deaths, right? And this was only the hypothetical, like safe haven baby, no
Right.
build up for any
No attachment.
no
other way.
attachment.
Maybe if Chris was younger, but
Yeah.
like he's gonna be 16.
No, he's gonna be fine. I think
He'll be fine.
I think if there's any reason for a character to have some kind of crash up in terms of like Theo and Chris, it's gonna be Eddie. You know, again, because of years.
He'll worry about it. And even Buck.
Yeah.
Be worried. I also am just like, I could see Chris having a little bit of a hissy fit, eventually down the line when like Buck and Eddie get their shit together, or even maybe once they start living together. It's like, all I had to do to get you guys to live together was to like have a little brother.
Yeah. Kind of in the way of like, we could have been doing this the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I could see that. Just like sassy pants, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of like sticking it in their face. Like, you guys are dummies.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so much potential.
So much.
Remember, don't sing I Got You, Babe at karaoke.
But if you do,
Take a buddy with you. Thank you for listening to the Buddy System podcast.
can't get enough of the buddies? Subscribe to our Patreon for access to our Discord community, full reaction videos, and even more exclusive content.
And if you really want to make our day, leave a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
Please come yap with us on your favorite social media platform.
We're at Buddy System Pod everywhere. That's BUDDIE System Pod.
Catch you next time. And don't forget, bring a buddy with you.